to the New York Giants, and welcome to Washington, everyone. Dick Stockton along with Daryl Johnston. Redskins may be 2-0, but they won both their games by a total of 5 points and have not faced a number one quarterback, that is, until today. So, what must they accomplish in this game?
Well, the one thing they shouldn't have to do is come out and apologize for those 2 victories. It's still very difficult to win a game on Sundays in the NFL, regardless of the situation of your opponent. And the players and coaches know that full well. They've been able to take a look at what areas they need to improve in, but they're doing that with an unblemished record. Steve Spurrier wants to concentrate on discipline, the penalties, some breakdowns in special teams, but the big problem, protection. They've given up 10 sacks in their first 2 games.
The Giants, meanwhile, thought that they were through with the heartbreaking losses after San Francisco in the playoffs. That wasn't the case after Monday night's disaster against the Dallas Cowboys. So, Moose, what's the state of this team now?
Well, the one thing I want to do is see how the Giants handle success. There was high expectations coming into the season. They answered those in week 1 against the Rams, but then they come out with a subpar performance against the Cowboys on Monday night. So the big question is not whether they're going to face adversity today, because they've always responded well in that situation. Whether it's Jim Fossil pushing his chips to the table or their improbable playoff run last year, they've always answered the bell coming off a tough defeat. The good thing about this game, it's on a short week, and these players are anxious to get on the field and silence their critics.
All right, so it'll be the Giants and the Redskins, and they've been playing each other.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Remember to answer today's Sprint Virtual Coach question. Use your PCS Vision from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com. And the question is, which team 2-0 on the year will not make the playoffs? And the Sprint phone takes mighty good photos as well. Yesterday we had an opportunity to visit the Pentagon. It was quite an honor, and we have our own Secretary of Defense, Daryl Johnston, posing for one of the pictures.
Yeah, one of the interesting things we found out at the Pentagon yesterday, the original construction started 1941, September 11th, so kind of ironic with everything that's happened in that building.
Scores of early games, and Tampa Bay rebounds from their loss to Carolina by demolishing Atlanta. Tennessee over New Orleans. Minnesota holding the lead over Detroit. And Indianapolis beating Jacksonville in AFC action. Kansas City, the Jets, and the Pittsburgh Steelers leading in their games. The Redskins have won the toss and will get the ball first. Matt Bryant will be kicking off for the Giants. Beat the Redskins twice last year by a total of 8 points and have won 4 of the last 5. And this is Chad Morton on a short kickoff by Bryant on the return. And Morton breaks to the outside and will get a big gainer on the opening kickoff and driven out of bounds by the kickoff man, Matt Bryant, close to the 40-yard line. Patrick Ramsey has won his last 4 starts and playing with a sprained left shoulder, suffered last week against Atlanta. It affected his practice this week, but he is ready to go and very much improved. Was impressive last year as a rookie and off to a good start this year. And the Redskins will have a first down starting from the 41-yard line. And the pitch to Trung Candidate. Changing direction. Candidate, who has a world of speed, won't get away from Dhani Jones this time, and a loss of 2 on the play. Let's take a look at the Redskins offensive unit. And here is their line. John Jansen will be going against Michael Strahan. Fiore has been banged up at left guard, but he's okay. And Lavernius Coles, everyone talking about Coles, who had a record-breaking week personally for him with 11 catches, 180 yards, and a touchdown against the Falcons. It'll be second down and 12. Candidate has some room, and Trung Candidate will get a first down into Giant territory with a brilliant bit of running, picking up 20 yards before he is brought down.
We saw this last week. It doesn't matter what the situation is on the field. Steve Spurrier this season is willing to run the ball. You see the little play action in the backfield with the pitch out to Trung Candidate. They get him isolated out on the perimeter, and that's where he is dangerous.
Whoever thought Steve Spurrier would ever go to the running game, but it has worked for him with not only Trung Candidate, but Liddell Betts, who we will see the power back as well. First and 10 at the Giant 42-yard line after the huge pickup. And Ramsey had an open receiver. It was Candidate, and instead went underneath, incomplete to the fullback, Rock Cartwright. Take a look at the Giants defensively. And there is Strahan, who's coming close to 100 career sacks. Griffin. Lance Legree is starting in place of the injured Keith Hamilton. Mike Barrow had 19 tackles last week against the Dallas Cowboys. And the secondary featuring the two Wills, Peterson and Allen. Sean Williams, a strong safety, and Omar Stoutmeyer, who had an interception. Second down and 10, and the pass drilled off the hands of Darnarian McCants, but he was well covered downfield by Omar Stoutmeyer.
One of the areas the Redskins struggled last week was in protection early in that football game. 5 sacks in the first half on the first pass today. The offensive line and the running backs with a blitz by the Giants do a good job of forming that pocket, allowing Patrick Ramsey to stand tall and deliver that ball.
Steve Spurrier, who said that he learned that the NFL defenses were too good to open the game just throwing. And he looks like a totally different head coach this year running the offense.
Much more patient in his attack.
3rd and 10. And here comes the audible, which the quarterbacks do very often under his system. And this pass is caught by McCants. Darnarian McCants with a first down after dropping the earlier pass 21 yards before Brown and Harris bring him down. And there's a late flag down as well.
Well, Darnarian McCants has got to learn that if he makes a good play, he doesn't have to turn around and talk smack to Johnny Harris, because he's going to lose 15 yards at the end of this play.
Johnny Greer discussing whether taunting will be the call against McCants. But you're right, the Redskins looking very good, getting a first down at the Giant 22. And it will be a penalty against the Redskins, a personal foul.
And that's the discipline that Steve Spurrier wanted to work on during the course of this week. His team is committing stupid penalties. There's absolutely no reason. Darnarian McCants knows that this is a penalty.
Personal foul, taunting, number 85, offense. After the play is over, we'll set the sticks. It will be 1st and 25.
You got to be a smart player in the NFL, and Darnarian McCants knows that this is one of the situations that the officials are looking at. He runs a good route, makes a good catch, but just come back to the huddle. And you're walking a fine line trying not to take the emotion away from the game, but there is no reason to throw the ball at the guy and then to get in his face. You know you're going to get flagged for that.
Back last week, Rod Gardner was called for taunting, another receiver for the Redskins. And so you were just talking a few minutes ago about playing smarter football, not committing the penalties. This really takes him way back to the 36-yard line.
You're 1st and 10 inside the 20 on your opening drive. Now you're all the way back outside the 35-yard line. It's just, yards are too hard to come by, and Steve Spurrier has talked about, I'd love to be able to throw the ball more, but sometimes we get into situations where I really can't. 1st and 25, this is one of them right here. It's inexcusable.
Especially against a Giant defense, which can stiffen at any time. So now you see a 21-yard gain and 15 on the penalty. Crowd was showing the replay on the big screen here, and of course, guess what? They didn't agree with it.
Well, it doesn't matter. As soon as he throws the ball at Johnny Harris, you're going to get a flag. I mean, it's that simple. He knows it. The officials come in during preseason, and they go over these rules with you. And they've been talking about that situation for 2 or 3 years now.
Right now, the officials trying to decide whether it's a first down and 25 or a 1st and 10 back on the 36-yard line.
It should be 1st and 10.
It is, yes.
It's a dead ball foul. You lose the yardage, but you don't get penalized on top of that with a 1st and 25. They'll move it back to 15 yards from the spot of the foul, and it'll be 1st and 10 from there.
They marked the chains at a 1st and 10. And Johnny Greer just amplified that. Redskins would have been just outside the Giant 20-yard line. Instead, they're just outside the 35, and they bring in their power running back, Liddell Betts, into the backfield. Betts scored a touchdown last week. And Lavernius Cole, lining up in the backfield, goes in motion to the right. And there is Ramsey, and Cole can't handle it. Had to make sure the pass was not a backward pass. Nobody's blowing a whistle. Now they finally do. It was not a backward pass at all, so it was just an incomplete pass. Coles wasn't sure, the officials did not signal.
Well, if you're not sure, pick it up and start running. You don't want to leave that ball on the ground and give any room for error on a miscue by the officials. So a heads-up play by Lavernius Coles there just to make sure that that ball was thrown forward.
And there you see the big game he had against the Atlanta Falcons last week. Coles himself had to come out of the game with injury. He had a sprained neck twice against the Falcons. But he, too, like his quarterback,
matched up against the safety down at the bottom. There they adjusted right at the end.
Sean Williams on him, and the pass to Coles, and he drops another one. So he was free, and it would have been a Redskin first down. And he got in front of Sean Williams, but once again, Lavernius Coles cannot hold on.
And you're looking for a mismatch during the course of a football game. They got Lavernius Coles out wide, and they had Sean Williams on him. That would be a matchup that they would love to have. Just a little bit of lack of concentration at the end of that catch by Lavernius Coles.
One of the things the Redskins now, with a lot more speed, want to do, they want to match him up, free him up, so he'll line up in the backfield and go to either side and go in motion. This time, lines up to the top of your picture. 3rd down and 10 on the 36. Pressure up the middle on Ramsey. It's picked up, and the pass off the hands of Chad Morton, incomplete. Michael Strahan was out in the open field covering on the play, so the Redskins looked like they were in business, but they dropped some passes, commit a bad penalty, and now they have 4th down coming up.
Discipline. Steve Spurrier talked about it this week. He wants to see his team become more disciplined. 1st and 10 at the 21, disappears, goes out to the 36. You drop 3 consecutive passes. Now you're forced to punt the football.
And Brian Barker will do the honors, and the Giants will send back Brian Mitchell, who spent 10 years in the uniform of the Redskins before going to the Eagles, and did not have kind things to say about the Redskins as the punt lands inside the 15 and is down at about the 7-yard line. Terrific punt by Barker, and David Terrell downs it to give the Redskins defense a good edge.
Fox NFL Sundays, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 38.
Cracked crab is tasty, whether you live in Landover, Maryland, or Washington, or anywhere. And the Giants getting ready for their first offensive series of the game inside the 10-yard line. Kerry Collins. A lot of people take him for granted. Throwing arm probably as good as anyone's in the National Football League. First down at the 8. And the handoff to Tiki Barber, and Barber doesn't get much off the left side. Barber's been plagued by fumbleitis. He has fumbled in each of the first 2 games, gets only 1 with Trotter and Matt Bowen bringing him down. Let's take a closer look at the Giant offensive unit, and for good news for the Giants, Luke Pettigrew, who had back spasms, back in the lineup, but they still have 2 rookies playing. Amani Toomer, 7 catches, 126 yards. Jim Finn did not play last week, healthy as the fullback. It'll be 2nd down and 9, and again they go to Barber off the left side, and you can see the Redskins are trying to go after the football. In this case, Fred Smoot, and no one knew whether Smoot would play because he suffered a concussion on Thursday at practice, colliding with Matt Bowen, and it was a game-time decision, and the Redskins are delighted he's in there. Here's the Redskin defense. Bruce Smith inching closer to Reggie White's sack record. And Jermaine Haley with a fractured thumb back in action. Outstanding linebackers, including the ex-Giant Jesse Armstead, and terrific corners, and Smoot, and especially Champ Bailey. And the handoff on the pitch to Barber, and the Redskins are there. So if the Giants wanted a test to see how well the Redskins defense against the run was, they got their answer there.
Well, Jim Fossil wants to come out and be patient early in this football game to allow those young guys in the offensive line to get comfortable, but you can't be too conservative. They're back deep in their end. The Redskins could get very good field position out of this possession. I'll tell you what, the defensive line for the Washington Redskins, a big question mark coming into the season. The first 2 weeks and already the beginning of this football game today have played extremely well.
And their defense against the rush, 78 yards, is very impressive after 2 games. So Jeff Beadles will be kicking backed up against his goal line, and Chad Morton looking for good field position. It is a line drive kick, and Morton already in Giant territory. And here's Chad Morton with a great return, and Morton finally is brought down on what could have been a touchdown touchdown-saving tackle inside the 30-yard line by the punter, Jeff Beagles. A 28-yard return by the ex-Jet, Chad Morton, and do they miss him and the others?
Well, they've been very frustrated in the first couple weeks. The Giants have with their coverage units. Last Monday night, a big kickoff return to get the Tide back in favor of the Dallas Cowboys, and Chad Morton, an area that the Redskins have struggled with. He has been extremely frustrated, whether it's punt returns or kickoff returns. You can't let that guy get going. He started the game with a big return on a kickoff. He's got another one on his first punt return. You better wrap that guy up for pound, he's the strongest kid on the Redskins team.
So Jim Fossil has to be frustrated with the special teams coverage, and you're right, after the Giants had a touchdown on the interception by Ralph Brown, the kickoff got the Cowboys back in business, and now the Redskins are back in business with a first down at the 25. Run candidate is the setback, and slipping going by, and a handoff to candidate, and the Redskins fortunate on the slip. They did not fumble the ball. No gains on the play.
We'll go back and take a look at that opening drive when everything seemed to be going well, and this is the discipline that Steve Spurrier is talking about. It's just lack of concentration. That one's a little high there for Chad Morton, but those other two passes, those guys make that catch almost 100% of the time. They just got to relax and be patient.
Redskins 2-0, as we said, and everyone knows, for the first time since their 1991 Super Bowl year, which, by the way, under Joe Gibbs, won their first 11 games that season. But they're stepping up, facing the first-string quarterback for the first time, and maybe the best defense that they have faced. Again, Ramsey slips, and I don't know whether he got tripped up on the center's leg, but Griffin and Legree put him down for the loss of 7 yards.
Well, he came stumbling out on the play before this. We'll take a look and see if we can see what's going on in there. Yep, there it is. Randy Thomas going on an inside step, puts his foot right on top of Patrick Ramsey as he's trying to back away out of center. He was able to maintain his balance on the previous play.
Very sloppy opening for the Washington Redskins, who are not showing the verve after they were introduced of a 2-0 team.
Well, you got to take advantage of your opportunities during a football game. They were down inside the 20, got no points. They have a great return on the punt, back into Giant territory again, and they're about ready to blow their second opportunity of the game.
Timeout called by the Redskins as Steve Spurrier wants to settle his boys down. Here at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, Dick Stockton along with Daryl Johnston. We have 9:34 remaining in the first quarter, and the first 6 minutes have been played on the Redskins' half of the field, but they have a 3rd and 15 following a timeout on the 30-yard line of the Giants. Here is Ramsey, and Ramsey going deep into the corner of the end zone, and it is caught by Gardner for the touchdown. Will Peterson covering him, and a flag is down against the Redskins, so that's going to come back. The 30-yard play will be nullified. The penalty marker back down at the line of scrimmage and beyond.
Well, we talked at the beginning, how are the Giants going to respond to adversity after their loss to the Cowboys? It'll be interesting to see how the Redskins are going to respond to the adversity that they faced in the beginning of this football game. 2 golden opportunities to put points on the board.
Number 60, offense.
So Chris Samuels, who committed false start penalties last week in the noise at the Georgia Dome, now in a critical holding penalty to nullify a 30-yard touchdown strike.
Chris Samuels down the bottom of your screen going up against Kenny Holmes. Yeah, it's a pretty easy one right there. 2 points for a takedown. Boy, that just erases a great throw and catch by Patrick Ramsey and Rod Gardner. Great concentration at the end of that play.
Redskins self-destructing here in the first quarter, but it is a 0-0 game. 3rd down and 25. And out of field goal range right now are the Redskins on the screen pass to Rock Cartwright. Cartwright inside the 30-yard line, and now the Redskins will have an opportunity to try a field goal. They'll be 9 yards shy of the first down after the 16-yard pickup. Barrow and Brown on the tackle.
Good play call by Steve Spurrier. He's not going to get the first down yardage, but give yourself a makeable field goal opportunity. Look at the guys out in front there. Randy Thomas, Larry Moore, Dave Fiore. Good job getting out in front of Rock Cartwright.
4th down, and John Hall coming on. Hall has already kicked 2 50-yard field goals And his 54-yarder just before halftime was great impetus for the Redskins last week. This will be a 42-yard attempt, and Hall's kick is good. So the ex-Jets already making an impact of sorts. Cole, Morton, and now Hall, 3-0 Washington. 8 teams will compete to see what will be this year's historic moment. Who will make the next unforgettable play, and what team will take home baseball's ultimate prize? Fox Sports brings you baseball's division series and then becomes the exclusive home to the championship and World Series. It all begins September 30th right here on Fox. There is Brian Mitchell, who spent 10 years with the Redskins and was unceremoniously dumped by them. And his comments were pretty harsh this week. He says all the Redskins want were yes men, and I wasn't a yes man. And no love lost between Mitchell and the Redskin ownership. Went to Philadelphia, now happy to be with the Giants. As you look at the scoring drive by the Redskins, who have run 9 of 11 plays in Giant territory thus far. John Hall kicking off, and Brian Mitchell beat. Mitchell from inside the 4, and is tripped up close to the 25 by Andre Lott. Giants better field position than the first time they had the ball when we returned.
The next Ford F-150, built Ford tough. By State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by Visa. If you love the NFL, it's everywhere you want to be.
Well, it may be easier to joke about Hurricane Isabel and the problems that created in the area with some flooding as well as power outages. But it's all coming back to the area in Maryland, Virginia, and in the district. First down on the 26-yard line, and going in the air for the first time today and completing to Jeremy Saki is Kerry Collins, and he gets 9 yards on first down. And right now for game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, Seattle spotted the Rams a 7-0 lead here, but take a look at Mark Bulger on the keep it. Here's something that Kurt Warner could not do. That score tied up at 7. Then Jeff Blake, he also decides to keep it after the play action. He takes it in for the score, and Arizona on top of the Packers by a touch. Back to Dick Stockton.
All right, JB, thank you very much. And Tiki Barber, who now is carried for the 4th time, tackled quickly by Ronaldo Wynn after a short gain. Under 8 minutes to go, first quarter. Redskins lead 3-0. They have dominated, but have shot themselves in the foot and have to settle for a 3-0 lead.
The Giants have done a good job up to this point, weathering the storm, taking advantage of miscues by the Redskins. So they were really handcuffed with field position on their opening drive. We'll see if Jim Fossil opens up this offense a little bit more now that he's got good field position.
Well, he puts Tiki Barber out to the flat, and an empty backfield on 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line. The short drop in the pass, and making the reception is Amani Toomer for about 6 yards. And Amani Toomer, who has already passed Frank Gifford for the NFL's all-time, or the Giant all-time, receiving yardage leader.
You see the offensive lineman holding hands to try and combat this noise here. Luke Pettigrew's got to keep his eyes inside, especially when you're going against a guy like Bruce Smith, who has a great first step still at 40 years old. He doesn't want anything that slows him getting out of his stance. 2nd and 5. Barber going in motion, and here is Collins, and the timing, and wrestling it away is Ike Hilliard as he wrestled it away from the Redskin defender, the linebacker Jeremiah Trotter, and he gets 6 yards and a first down. Very tough play by Hilliard. Jim Fossil sticking to his game plan. He wanted to run the ball early, get into his quick game a little bit, spread the Redskins out, let those guys get comfortable. Wayne Lucier, David Deal, Chris Boger playing out at right tackle, the starting center in week 1. So once he builds the confidence and feels comfortable with play calling, we'll start to see the Giants get down the field more. They started 3 rookies on the offensive line last week. First time since 1981, as Barber with good blocking off the left side, and Tiki Barber with a little blocking action of his own, ridden out of bounds by Fred Smoot. Seven-yard gain for Barber, who doesn't want to get that fumble problem into his head. He's lost a fumble in each of the first 2 games.
as the Giants now in Redskin territory for the first time will have a 2nd down and 3.
And it's amazing that regardless of who the Giants play, all the defensive coordinators talk about stopping Tiki Barber first. If he gets on track, that opens up the entire Giant offense. And when you've got guys like Amani Toomer and Jeremy Shockey, Ike Hilliard on the outside, Kerry Collins delivering them the ball.
We were looking at the incorrect clock. The time is correct.
You always got to look at the correct clock, is what I say.
So still, the biggest concern for a defense going against the Giants is making sure that Tiki Barber doesn't get off to a fast start.
2nd and 3 on the Redskin 45. Barber looking for running room, and Barber close to the 1st down. Matt Bowen forcing the play from his free safety spot. And has been a very conservative start offensively for the Giants.
Jeremy Shockey's doing such a better job this year in his run blocking. You see him battling Reagan Upshaw right there, turns him to the outside, allows Tiki to get back inside. The better he gets at that, the more of a threat he is on the football field, because now you don't know what's going to happen. We all know about his great receiving ability, but you talk to everybody in the Giants organization, he has really, really improved his blocking.
He caught a touchdown pass last week, but everyone remembers missing the easy touchdown reception plus another one. Not happy at all with his game, and the Giants getting a 1st down on the 42 of the Redskins, and Collins again with time, and he completes it to Hilliard, and Ike Hilliard gets extra yards as he turns the secondary man down and gets inside the 25. A 20-yard pickup working on Fred Smoot, questionable coming in.
Well, you know, the Dallas Cowboys had success defensively against the Giants on Monday night, playing a lot of zone coverage. The Washington Redskins play a lot of man-to-man, and these guys are awful explosive down the field. Look at the moves after the catch by Ike Hilliard. I don't know. I'm going to back off a little bit, challenge these guys, use some of the things that the Cowboys did on Monday night to slow this offense down.
And Hilliard, who like Shockey and Toomer, caught touchdown passes against Dallas Monday with another reception. 1st down on the 23 of Washington. And the slant off the hands of Shockey, and it's an incompleted pass, and a couple of the Redskin defenders got their hands in there, including linebacker LeVar Arrington.
Jeremy Shockey split wide left in the formation, running a quick slant. This ball had to travel through a lot of defenders. Kerry Collins very fortunate that that didn't get intercepted. It got tipped a couple of times on its way to number 80.
4:11 remaining in the 1st, 2nd and 10. Jeremy Shockey, who had 16 catches in 2 games against the Redskins last year, including 11 in 1 game. From the 23, 2nd down, Collins pumps once and hits Shockey again. Shockey dragged down at about the 6-yard line for another Giant 1st down, and that's the Jeremy Shockey that the Giants know, including his antics after a catch. 17 yards with Smoot on the coverage.
Jeremy Shockey's like one of those running backs that you have to feed the ball to early to get him comfortable, to get him successful during the course of the game. If you can get the ball to him early, his confidence builds as the game goes on, and we're seeing him running the routes that he's the best at. The little option route breakout, the slant, and that one shutting it down on a little curl.
Staying away from Champ Bailey because they've gone to Hilliard and Shockey exclusively through the passing game, and now here is Tiki Barber as he jukes his way down to the 5-yard line and picks up 2 yards on the play. Giants threatening here, and once again going with the empty backfield, but the quick release and the short drop nullifying what could be a pass rush by the Redskins.
Oh, it's so frustrating on the defensive side of the ball. It's so hard to get pressure when you've got an offense that's so good at executing the quick game. It's a quick 3-step drop thrown on rhythm. That's why we're seeing so many batted footballs nowadays. These guys can't get there, but they get their hands up in the passing lanes.
11th play of the drive. 2nd and goal at the 5. And there is Collins' pass and into the end zone.
No, he's going to mark him short. Yeah, there he goes.
Touchdown, and it's Ike Hilliard. So Hilliard and Shockey become the chief beneficiaries of Collins throwing, and the Giants come back quickly and take the lead 6-3.
They move Tiki Barber out into the slot right there. That leaves Ike Hilliard inside against the linebacker, and he just runs a little pivot route right off of Jeremy Trotter, number 54.
So the Giants lead 6-3, and Matt Bryant, with 2:45 remaining in the 1st quarter, looking to add the 7th point, and he does, and the Giants have taken a 7-3 lead on a very smart series by the Giants.
And all the girls said pretty fly for a white guy.
And the Giant tight end Jeremy Shockey, as the Giants went 74 yards in 11 plays, their longest drive of the season in every area, and Kerry Collins completed 6 of 7 in the process. So Matt Bryant kicking off. The Giants lead 7-3, and the kick fielded at the 2 by Liddell Betts. And Liddell Betts gets to the 20-yard line, and right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Tinseltown.
Hey, Dick, Warren Sapp enjoying a great year now. They can't say they didn't see him in the game. Warren Sapp is a tight end. Look at this, Dick. This has to be either the pogo stick or the jackhammer. He said it was a tribute to Beyonce's Crazy in Love. Either way, it was a touchdown as Tampa won it. Back to Dick. Daryl, I'd love to see Tony Siragusa do that.
So would we. Shades of the fridge, right, Moose?
Warren Sapp with he's got a Super Bowl ring. He's got a touchdown now. No stopping that guy.
Redskins hope there's no stopping them as they begin from the 19, and a quick burst up the middle by Liddell Betts, and he gets about 9 yards on first down. And you know, the Giants had the thunder and lightning when they had Ron Dane and Tiki Barber. Well, the Redskins do have thunder and lightning now when they have Trunk Candidate as the lightning, and this is the thunder, Liddell Betts.
Randy Thomas, a great block out front on Michael Barrow, opens up that hole. Liddell Betts is a downhill runner between the tackles. Trunk Candidate's your guy on the outside. You got to be aware who's in the backfield.
2nd down and 1 as we near 2 minutes remaining in the first, and they go again to Betts, rolls off the defender, gets a first down and a few more before he's corralled by Omar Stoutmeyer. 8 more yards for Betts. So those, they always seem to have a fresh running back in there for a team that never really liked to run the ball last year.
You talk about defensive linemen, and they like to get in rotation so they can stay fresh, and that's what the Redskins do with their running game. They got Liddell Betts, they've got Trunk Candidate. Chad Morton, a guy who just came into the huddle, is another guy that they're going to try and utilize in the backfield today. So these guys are always fresh. They can always have the ability to make that big play because they're not worn down during the course of the game.
Redskins with a first down on their 36, and as you mentioned, the other running back, Chad Morton, is the setback, and the 3 receivers for Patrick Ramsey, and Ramsey is going up top once again to Lavernius Coles, and he is covered well by Sean Williams. Michael Strahan not in this series right now, as Keith Washington, who is inactive last Monday night against Dallas, in Strahan's spot at the defensive end's position.
I don't understand that right now at this point in the game. I'd like to have Michael Strahan on the football field. He's a guy that can take over a game at any point with his ability to pressure the passer, so hopefully there's nothing wrong physically with Michael Strahan.
And Keith Hamilton out of action with the hamstring pull. Lance Legree playing for him, so the Giants have been dinged. And there's the handoff after the fake pass right up the middle of Liddell Betts. And the Redskins will be shy of the first down by about a yard. Here's Keith Hamilton, who is unable to play because of the hamstring pull, and that is a big loss for the Giants. Not only what he brings on the field, but in the locker room as well.
Yeah, and one of the reasons the Redskins are having success in the middle, because that's the area that Keith Hamilton patrols in that defensive line. But as you pointed out, Michael Strahan is always disappointed to see him on the sideline because he says he brings an attitude to the huddle that really nobody else on that defensive group exudes.
3rd down and 1 from the 45. Bowles coming in motion, and the pitch to Liddell Betts going outside, and Liddell Betts is tackled. I don't think he got enough for the first down. He is stopped for no gain. Cornelius Griffin and Dhani Jones both there on the play. So it is 4th down for the Redskins on their 45-yard line, and they're going to kick it away. So the Giant defense holds on 3rd and 1. Forcing Steve Spurrier to kick.
Well, all their running success has been downhill running plays into the middle of the defense, and on a 3rd and 1, they try and do a little change-up and use Liddell Betts on the outside, and kind of backfired on him a little bit. And the Giants again have weathered the storm.
Time has run out, and that is the end of the first quarter with the score: Giants 7, Redskins 3. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages. Giants head coach Jim Fossil having to answer questions about leaving too much time on the clock, allowing the Cowboys for that incredible comeback in regulation and then winning in overtime as Brian Barker's kick goes out of bounds. Another good kick for him. And another tough loss for the Giants trying to rebound once again. Well, next week it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning with America's #1 pregame show. First, the Eagles look for their first win when they take on the Bills. And then the Cowboys take on the Jets as Bill Parcells faces his old team for the first time. Or one of his old teams or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. The biggest stories are in the NFC, and the NFC is on Fox.
It's kind of strange. He's facing all three of his former teams in his first season in Dallas. The Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots.
Hey, bye week. I'll see you guys next couple of weeks right here at the Meadowlands as Tiki Barber with a good block off the left side of the line, picking up his best rush of the day, getting 12 yards and a first down with Trotter and Bowen finally stopping him.
This is all Tiki Barber. Watch the cut. When he decides to get downhill, the patience of the running back to let the play develop. There's Jesse Armstead right in position, right underneath him. That's a tremendous cut. That's great vision by Tiki Barber to anticipate Jesse Armstead coming up the field.
Giants get some room and a first down for them on their 31-yard line early here in the second quarter. And they go again to Barber, runs into traffic, and is dropped after a minimal gain.
Antonio Pierce getting looked at, checking his ankle out. He'll get probably another tape job done there, maybe a little bit firmer than he had when he came out on the field.
Tiki Barber, 38 yards and 9 carries thus far. And nothing will get your confidence back after a couple of games fumbling than to have a very solid first half, and that's what Barber's doing. Second down and 7, and there is Collins out of the backfield is Tiki Barber. Another Giant first down, still on his feet as he gets to midfield. And it was Jesse Armstead, his ex-teammate, finally brings him down, but not before Tiki picks up 16 more.
And it's so important for Tiki not to worry about these fumbles, because when they happen is at the end of the run when he's trying to get that extra yard by extending the ball. Watch at the end of this run. He starts to feel the defenders coming around. He squeezes it right there, gets it down. You watch it from the front here. See, he's got that tucked in on his side. That's when his fumbles have happened, when he's gotten to the end of the run and he extends for that extra yard.
Giants at midfield and 2 tight ends with Vasante Shanko along with Barber, and it's a running play again to Tiki Barber, who has been a workhorse here in this first half. He gets 2 on that play.
Well, he's where the whole offense starts off, and the Washington Redskins know it. They know that they can't let him get on track, and you see the difference that it makes. Last week, Kerry Collins, maybe not a lot of time in the pocket. Sometimes those guys kind of collapsing it, but with the play action, because of the success in the running game, they have to respect Tiki Barber. He's got more time in the pocket to throw.
And with 10 carries, he is replaced by Delvin Joyce, gets a breather on the sideline. Second down and 8 on the Redskin 48-yard line, and here is Collins, and the pass off of Jim Finn, the fullback, bringing up second down. Daryl, you've got a football. You were talking about what do you do, and you know you've been in that spot as far as avoiding fumbling.
Well, it's really hard because it's just a guy trying to get more yardage, and at the end of the runs, Tiki will have it squeezed. He's got the 4 points covered on the front and the back of the ball. He's got it out here with his forearm and tucked to his side, but when he gets to the end, he'll extend it out. The guys chasing in pursuit come down and slap it out of his hand.
Are you saying I can't knock that out of your hand now?
When it's here. When it gets out here, it can.
Okay. Third down and 8. Ryan Mitchell, who has been used a great deal in the offensive backfield in the game now for the Giants on a passing pattern. Pressure on Collins. Flag is down as Mitchell drops the pass out of the backfield.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 67, offense.
And a penalty against Chris Bober, the right tackle, who is a converted center, as the Giants really shuffling their offensive line in the last couple of weeks and still playing 2 rookies in Wayne Lucier and David Deal. First penalty called against the Giants.
And what they've got to do, they've got Luke Pettigrew back in the lineup. On Monday night, they had 2 different tackles. Chris Bober starting in a different position, and Jeff Rail playing as a rookie. He couldn't worry about both edges, but with Luke Pettigrew back today, he's got to help out Chris Bober on the right side.
Third down and now 13. Giants back in their own territory. Good protection. Now 1-7 breaks down. LeVar Arrington got a piece of Kerry Collins, and it's ruled an incompleted pass. Harrington came in and caught Kerry Collins' arm, and the pass is ruled incomplete, and 4th down coming up.
We talk about matchups on the offensive side of the ball, but this is Tiki Barber. That's a nice job. He puts his helmet right into LeVar Arrington's chest. Kerry Collins had to hold that ball. He's got to know that he's got Tiki Barber matched up in protection against one of the best pass rushing linebackers in the NFL and have that mental clock speed up and get the ball out.
Jeff Beagles kicking it away, and Chad Morton to return for the Redskins. Beagles with a beauty. Morton will let it bounce at the 5. Giants had a player down there, but it bounced into the end zone. Touchback. Redskins ball when we return.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Mazda. There's a soul of a sports car in everything we make. By Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. By WebMD, redefining modern medicine. And by Wachovia.
And welcome back to Landover, Maryland, FedEx Field, where the Giants lead the Redskins 7-3. Giants looking to rebound from their devastating loss to the Cowboys. Redskins looking to make it 3 in a row, starting from the 20-yard line. And Patrick Ramsey flips to Coles on the end around. Lavernius Coles showing his speed, and Coles gets the first down and gets nearly to midfield. And that's the value of having a player that can beat you so many ways. 23 yards on the end around.
Watch as Lavernius Coles comes around. He's going to have Omar Stoutmire in front of him, and he just totally jukes him out. You see 23 kind of shaking his head as he's chasing him down. Here he comes in motion on the inside, goes around into the backfield. There's the little flip. Omar Stoutmire is in perfect position, but whoops, there he goes.
And they played running back at Florida State, so he's very dangerous with the runs after the catch, or in this case on the end around. First down on the Redskin 43, and a play action pass coming up, and Ramsey going for the wide receiver Rod Gardner, incomplete, calling for a push-off, but none coming as he was covered by both Will Peterson and Omar Stoutmire.
Rod Gardner claiming he was being held on that pass. It looks as though it might have been a double move. Maybe one of the defenders bit on it, and then when he realized it, he reaches out to try and stop. As long as you don't impede his progress to get to that second part of the route, the officials are not going to call that. These guys are all good. Will Peterson's been in the league long enough. Oh, yeah, he's got a nice little tug right there. Don't start worrying about the flag until you finish the play, Rod.
Second down and 10, got away with it there. Drug candidate is the running back du jour for the Redskins at the moment. But Ramsey looking to throw, and the crossing pattern of Lavernius Coles, and Coles still on his feet. And that time, Giants unable to bring him down. Humidity, the rookie from Troy State, missed, and Omar Stoutmire on the stop, and the 8-yard pickup for Ramsey, who is now 3 for 10 through the air.
I tell you, you mentioned Lavernius Coles. He spent 3 years of his career at Florida State as a running back, got moved to wide receiver his senior year, and everybody knows what happened there with the situation. So he really felt that his first true year as a wide receiver was his rookie year with the Jets. And just imagine how good this guy is going to be. He has not been a receiver very long, and he is already one of the guys that you absolutely have to worry about when you play this Redskin football team.
286 yards coming in, leading the NFL in receiving yardage, and the trunk candidate is gobbled up by the Giant defense, but may have enough for the first down.
So much for trunk candidate being your outside perimeter speed guy. Boy, he went in there and just butted heads.
Remember, this is a team that boasted Stephen Davis, and it just didn't work out with Davis last year, is now getting it done for the Carolina Panthers. And a new set of running backs, and it's worked out very well off the first 2 games of the year. Going to measure, apparently, to see whether the Redskins picked up the first down. First down, Redskins. At very tough run by the speedster to get the first.
Extremely physical between the tackles by Trunk Kennedy. Good lead block by Rock Cartwright, but he took on one of the giant linebackers right in the hole and made the necessary yardage for the first down, actually falling forward.
Former St. Louis Ram, who was acquired in a deal for an offensive lineman, David Laverne. So, as you know, this was a terrific deal for Washington.
He's very talented. Maybe he just needed a change of scenery. Things didn't work out for him in St. Louis. He's doing a great job here in Washington.
Backing up Mr. Falk is not an easy task, and now he's the starter and showing why. Trunk candidate and making the tackle. Sean Williams holding on, but not before a gain of 15, and a flag is down and back at the 37-yard line. And the Redskins coming back, and it'll be a holding penalty against Washington. So a big run nullified.
Wide receivers holding downfield. You got to have them blocking to have your big plays.
Holding, 87, offense. Still first down.
But it's something that they don't do a lot. It's going to be on Rod Gardner right here. You're going to see he just gets a handful of jersey at the end, and you see his arms outside. That's the big problem right there, but you got to let him go at that point. The officials are watching. You can get away with it most of the time, but once that guy starts to separate from you, you got to let him go. You can't hold on to that jersey.
So instead of a 10-yard pickup, a loss of 10, and it's 1st and 10 at the 47. Huge difference, and the pressure is on the screen pass to Brian Johnston, and Johnson is brought down. And a good tackle that time made by Mike Barrow. And right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, Mark doing his best to solidify himself. Mark Bulger, that is, as the head man for the Rams, hooking up on the slant pattern there with Isaac Bruce. That 7-yard touchdown puts them ahead 14-7 over Seattle. Back to Dick and Daryl.
And there you see the cheerleader is Kurt Warner. Mark Bulger trying to bring the Rams back. What a great record he had when he took over the Rams last year.
You know, the big thing about that game, that's a statement game just like we have here. How good are the Seahawks? Well, they've got an opportunity to prove to everybody playing the St. Louis Rams today.
Redskins 2nd and 7, bobbling the snap is Jesse Palmer, and the pass thrown by Ramsey is incomplete, and he was out of bounds. So the receiver, Chad Morton, out of bounds on that pass from Patrick Ramsey, and it'll be 3rd down and long for the Redskins.
We've got another situation here where the Washington Redskins can be losing another opportunity early in this football game because of a mistake on their part, a lack of discipline. And boy, as this game unfolds, you can see why Steve Spurrier was so concerned about this during the course of the practice week. They just keep shooting themselves in the foot.
Relying on Patrick Ramsey here, who had a career best 25 passes, 356 last week, but facing a tougher defense this time, and the play clock runs down, and we'll have a delay of the game penalty called against the Redskins, and 5 more yards marked off.
Delay. Offense. Still 3rd down.
You know, sometimes you just got to stay with the play that's called. You get to the point where it's late. Right here, Sean Williams had walked up like he was going to blitz, and all of a sudden Patrick Ramsey went to change the play. Sean Williams backs off because he knows that time ran out. And last week on their 2 fumbles, the sack fumbles, Patrick Ramsey was changing the play very late in the play clock situation. Sometimes just stay with what's called and don't make the situation worse than it is.
Steve Spurrier, however, always encourages his quarterbacks to call the audibles, and that's where it can backfire. Instead of 3rd down and 7, 3rd and 12. Back at the 49, and another penalty marker, and this will be a false start against the Redskins, so they'll have to mark 5
Prior
more.
to the snap, false start, number 74, offense. Still 3rd down.
And we saw the play clock in the bottom of the screen winding down again. It's 3-2. They're not giving themselves enough time at the line of scrimmage. If you're going to be a team that wants to come to the line and audible 75-80% of the time, then you've got to get a better tempo coming in and out of the huddle. You can't be going to the line of scrimmage with 7 or 8 seconds left expecting to call audibles.
Bruce, did you mention penalties as a problem? How about 5 penalties for 45 yards already, with 9:01 to go in the 2nd quarter? 3rd and 17, and the handoff to Liddell Benton straight ahead, and he barely gets into Giant territory, so the Redskins will have to kick. So the Redskins, with 3 drives into Giant territory, have only 3 points to show for it, and that's a big factor in this game, with New York leading 7-3. Brian Barker will be punting, and Brian Mitchell back deep. This should get good hang time. Mitchell will let it drop. The Redskins can't keep it in bounds as it sails into the end zone. Giants 7, Redskins 3. Kerry Collins goes back to work when we... Hey, Moose, Michael Strahan is not himself, but we talked to him yesterday when the team arrived, and he seemed kind of tired. He admitted he was a little logy, whatever you want to call it, and he hasn't been himself, and it showed so far in his first half. Giants, meanwhile, from the 20-yard line, first down, and Bruce Smith either drawn off.
Well, the tough thing about this is because Steve Spurrier is similar to Mike Martz in his approach to throwing the ball.
Offside, 78, defense, unabated to the quarterback. Still first down.
So it's on Bruce Smith, 5 yards.
And sometimes he will leave his front 5 to block the defense's front 4, and that's a great matchup for Michael Strahan, even against a big tackle like John Jansen, who's very talented. But so far today, John Jansen's going up against him one-on-one, and Michael's not really getting close at all. So I don't think he's 100%. We're just seeing strictly bull rushes all afternoon. The thing about Michael is he has the inside power, outside power, speed, and the bull rush, and he's been very one-dimensional so far.
And he hasn't been on every series as well, as Tiki Barber takes it off the left side, and a good tackle made by Champ Bailey, limiting Barber to 5 yards.
Just take a look at what he's done so far. It's really John Jansen by himself, and you see right there, he's just trying to bull rush him. And Michael's at his best when he's changing up his rushes. And up until this point, all we're seeing is him trying to use strictly power against John Jansen, and that goes to John's favor because he can just sit back on that bull rush.
And we've seen Keith Washington come in and spell Strahan on a couple of the series earlier. 2nd and 1 at the 29. And they go to Barber, first down, up toward the 34-yard line. Jeremiah Trotter making the tackle on a busy Tiki Barber today. Barber carried 12 times thus far for 48 yards.
Much more productive than they were Monday night. And now this offensive line, they're comfortable. Jim Fossil's got to see that he's got control of this football game. I would not be surprised to see the Giants in this series start to get vertically down the field with some deep throws.
They lead 7-3. And there's Collins drilling it to Shockey. Great catch by Shockey, turning around, making the grab with a defender in his face, and a first down, picking up 22. It was Arrington and Bowen, but Arrington really right in front of him, and a terrific catch made here.
Yeah, this is not bad coverage at all. Watch this ball. Back shoulder, one-handed grab. LeVar Arrington, that's great coverage. This is just unbelievable execution. Kerry Collins puts it on the back shoulder where only Jeremy Shockey can catch it, and maybe literally only Jeremy Shockey can catch that.
I think he's coming out of his shell. He has 3 catches for 47 yards.
Now you get him on track early, he could be in for a big afternoon.
Not too much out of his shell, however, as Barber gets a couple, as the Giants marching here in the Redskin territory with 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in the half, leading 7-3. Collins hitting Ike Hilliard with a 5-yard pass to cap a 74-yard drive after John Hall put the Redskins in front with a field goal early in the first quarter. Here you see the play selection has been pretty balanced for the Giants. Every coach wants numbers like that. Collins trying to get out of trouble, off balance, and the pass is dropped. He had Hilliard, and a flag down at the line of scrimmage, and the Giants will be called for holding.
He's asking Bruce who held him.
Just give me a number, Bruce.
What guy was it that held you?
Holding, 77, offense, still 2nd down.
Right, we saw Bruce Smith talking to the officials earlier. This is one of the reasons. He plants that seed very early in the football game. Hey, ref, watch number 77. He's getting a handful sometimes. The big thing was he's outside the framework. If he gets his hands inside, the officials aren't going to call that, but once you get outside the framework, your arm goes outside of his and you're on his back, they're going to throw a flag every time.
Bruce Smith needing 3 sacks to pass Reggie White for the all-time NFL NFL sack lead. Second down and 20. The Giants back up to their own 46-yard line with under 6 minutes to go in the half. And Collins, with plenty of time, has Amani Toomer downfield. Toomer makes the catch and will go in for the touchdown. 54-yard pass to Toomer. And he has been defended by Champ Bailey, but he has had good days against Champ Bailey in his career. And the Giants lead now by 10.
Champ Bailey only gave up one touchdown last year, and that touchdown was to Amani Toomer. He has had good afternoons. He's leaning on the corner. Amani does a nice job selling that outside and then breaks back to the middle of the field, and it all starts up front. And you got to give credit to Chris Bober out on the right tackle, Wayne Lucier starting as a rookie, David Deal a rookie. Look at that protection. Kerry Collins has all the time in the world.
And Matt Bryant looking to give the Giants an 11-point lead. And he does with 5:41 to go. So it was Moose who said maybe they'll go vertical. Well, they went vertical. Collins with his second TD toss, this time.
And why were expectations so high for the Giants offense this year? Because they've played together for a long time. 5 years this group has been together, and look at the progression in their offense during the course of those years together. They get better and better every year because they build a chemistry. They know each other, and everybody talks about the Tampa Bay defense. Why are they so good? Because those guys have played together for a number of years.
Hooking up again, Kerry Collins and Amani Toomer. The Giants leading 14-3. Quieting this capacity crowd as you look at the New York scoring drive. 80 yards that time after a 74-yard drive for their other touchdown. And the Redskins will begin this series from their own 20. Fantasy Football Show exclusively on Fox Sports Net with 30 minutes of injury reports, matchup breakdowns, and late-breaking news. Our guys know how to play, who to sit, and who the hidden gems are. It's the ultimate fantasy football show, weekends only on Fox Sports Net. Log on to foxsports.com for the times in your area. Flags fly on first down, and there's a penalty. And
prior to the snap, false start, 76. Offense.
5-yard penalty against the Redskins. So Kerry Collins with 2 touchdown passes thus far, facing the Redskins, who have beaten 2 teams coming into this game, but both teams with their starting quarterback out. Not the case today with Collins.
I still say it's difficult to win a football game in the NFL, and there's no reason for these Redskins to apologize to anybody for being 2-0. You could be 0-2 and still trying to correct the problems that they've seen in their 2 victories. So, hey, competition, that's out the window. You're 2-0. That's the important thing.
And we'll be watching Michael Strahan, who has not been his usual self. Penalty against John Jansen and first down and 15 for the Redskins. Patrick Ramsey and the intended receiver, had his back to the play. Robert Royal, the rookie tight end, playing in place of Zeron Flemister, covered by Will Peterson.
Still Michael Strahan using that bull rush technique, and on Monday night the Dallas Cowboys just did so many different things to slow him down and to keep him off balance, and I don't think he's 100% today, because that's not the Michael Strahan when he gets in one-on-one situations.
And Johnny Lynn, the defensive coordinator, having to go without Keith Hamilton and Michael Strahan, who may not be 100%. Yet the Giants lead by 11, and now they get the sack from the secondary, and it's Ralph Brown, and a flag is thrown as well, and it will go against the Giants. So Ralph Brown got to Patrick Ramsey, but the flag will go against the Giants.
Well, it's not going to be on Ralph Brown. It's going to be on the second guy who came in. Ralph Brown comes off the slot, 22. He gets the sack, and then Dhani Jones jumps on late. We talked about the Redskins being undisciplined, but there's a little break in concentration by Dhani Jones.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer on the defense. First down.
And a tough blow. Jim Fossil has to be furious over this because they had Ramsey tackled inside the 5-yard line.
You see right there the pickup by trunk candidate. Ralph Brown comes free. There's absolutely no reason for Dhani Jones to jump on the pile right there. It's kind of a touchy call, but be smart. Don't give the referee the opportunity to pull the flag out of his pocket.
So the Giants had Ramsey sacked for a 7-yard loss, marked off, and the Redskins with a first down on the 23. 5:15 on the clock, second quarter. Hand off to Trunk Candidate, going outside, trying to turn the corner and knocked out of bounds. his candidate after a gain of about 5 yards by Omar Stoutmeyer, the Giants' free safety.
On this play, Michael Strahan gets held as the ball bounces outside. He's had a rough day already. You see the hold right there. I'm going to let that one go too, Michael. I tell you, there's something. He's just not himself right now. He's up. He's after the official right away.
Talking to Johnny Greer after the play. Redskins bring in Liddell Betts. In the motion is Rock Cartwright on 2nd and 5. Ramsey speeding back, and the pass up the middle in stride. Lavernius Coles into Giant territory. So the penalty after the sack inside the 5-yard line, and the Redskins back in business after the 32-yard pass and run, and have the ball in Giant territory.
Well, I just don't know how you can let this guy run free like this. I mean, he's the one guy that you've got to stop. And just think how good this combination is going to be. When he played with the Jets last year, he had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Chad Pennington. And this is the first year that he and Patrick Ramsey have worked together. And you see the production that they have now. This thing is only going to get better as these guys spend more time with each other.
Yeah, they both claim that they really don't have it all down on the same page yet.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah. And the give is to Betts. And Liddell Betts picking up 3 yards. Mike Barrow, who had the 19 tackles against Dallas last week, bringing Betts down. Not an easy task.
Well, let's see if the Redskins can take advantage of this opportunity. They've been in Giants territory the majority of the afternoon, but have come away with only 1 field goal. So this is about the spot on the field where everything starts to break down for this Redskin offense.
2nd and 7 on the 37 of the Giants. Holds in motion to the right, and Ramsey does not see a receiver, and finally scampers for about a yard or 2 before Osi Umenyiora, the Giants' 2nd-round draft pick out of Troy State. They were high on Umenyiora, as well as their #1 pick, William Joseph, the defensive tackle from Miami.
That's a good sign for Steve Spurrier, because one of the things that he still wants Patrick Ramsey to work on is that mental clock in the pocket. When the play gets to a point where nothing good can happen, tuck the ball, get some positive yards, or throw the ball into a dead area or out of bounds. Don't take the sack.
Ramsey will be operating out of the shotgun with Chad Morton by his side. 3rd and 6 on the Giant 36. And Ramsey pass knocked down by Strahan. He was trying to get it to Chad Morton coming out of the backfield, but Strahan bats it down.
You watch Michael Strahan, they're on a line stunt. He goes across, he gets bumped off, but he keeps his eye on Patrick Ramsey. He gets shoved all the way across the line of scrimmage, right into the throwing lane to Chad Morton.
Feeling a little friskier now is Mr. Strahan. 4th down coming up, and John Hall coming on, and field goal will be around the 50 range. 53 yards will be the official distance. Hall has been successful from 50 and 54 yards this year. A booming kick by Hall, and the kick is no good. Bounced off the left upright. It had the distance, and the kick is no good, and the score remains the Giants 14 and the Redskins 3.
Well, did everything right. He had plenty of distance on it, but clanked it off the upright. But the big thing is now the Giants get the ball at the spot of the kick, not at the line of scrimmage, but the spot of the kick. That's one of the risks when you try these long field goals. They're not very far from being right back into Redskin territory again on another scoring drive.
And they'll be on the 43-yard line. You brought out a good point. Normally teams like to, get up on top by passing and then run using up the clock in the second half. The Giants kind of doing it in reverse, running early because of the young offensive line. Now fielding their oats, starting to throw. From the 43, they'll run this play to Tiki Barber, and Barber has nowhere to go, and he is stopped short, either no gain or a loss of 1, thanks to Jeremiah Trotter. No gain for the Giants.
Well, the one thing you can't do when you're carrying the ball against the Redskin defense is stop your feet and look for a place to run, because of the athletic ability of Jeremiah Trotter, Jesse Armstead, LeVar Arrington, and then the speed in their secondary. I mean, there was 4 guys coming inside out on Tiki Barber. You just got to take what's there. If you stop and hesitate and try and cut back, you're going to run into a whole bunch of Redskins coming your way.
Especially their terrific linebackers of Trotter, Arrington, and the veteran Jesse Armstead, who's played well this year. 2nd and 9. Collins, and he's got Barber out of the backfield, and the ball is knocked loose, and chasing the loose ball, and it is called a completed pass and a fumble, and the Giants recover. LeVar Arrington hitting Barber hard forces the fumble, but the Giants, fortunately for them, recover back on the 36.
And there he is. The ball is out away from his body. As he starts to move, he pulls it away from his body. LeVar Arrington comes in and punches it right out.
Right on the money was Arrington there. 2-minute warning.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen on the road of life.
Along with Daryl Johnston as the Redskins coming in 2-0, facing division rival New York Giants, who are 1-1 after their loss in overtime to the Dallas Cowboys, a game that seemingly was in their back pocket. But the Swift kick went out of bounds. Enough time remaining in regulation for the Cowboys to tie it and then win it. Redskins defending here on a 3rd down and 19 on the Giants 34. Deep drop and a rollout, and the pass caught by Brian Mitchell, and Mitchell with a flag down may have a 1st down, but a penalty flag thrown upfield. Matt Bowen, the safety, makes the stop on Mitchell. It would be a 20-yard play, but and it'll be an offensive pass interference call on the Giants downfield, and that will nullify what would have been a 1st down, in fact.
Converting a 3rd and 19.
Pass interference, number 80, offense. Still 3rd down.
The tight end, Jeremy Shockey.
Well, it's a screen pass. The ball's being thrown behind the line of scrimmage, but you cannot initiate contact before the ball is thrown. He comes down the field, and he's going to go hit Rashad Bauman and knock him down before the ball was thrown. You saw the ball being thrown behind him. You cannot initiate contact until it's thrown.
He doesn't believe it, but I don't think he knew that the ball had not been thrown.
But it's hard. It's a whole timing thing. You've got your back to the screenplay. You just like a quarterback has a clock in his head. When you're doing screen passes and you're downfield blocking, you've got to also know that it takes time for that play to develop.
So now it's 3rd and 29 with 1:51 on the clock. The Redskins envision getting the ball back, perhaps, and doing some business. And the handoff flag down. Tiki Barber. And they'll stop this play. So yet another penalty. And this one called against the Giants, apparently. But we'll wait for the official call.
Neutral zone infraction, defense, still 3rd down.
So after all that, it is a penalty called against the Redskins. It'll be 3rd down and 24.
And that was on LeVar Arrington. He was coming up to the line of scrimmage on a blitz, and he got in the neutral zone. Bruce Smith was complaining that Luke Pettigrew had moved, but he and the guard next to him, Rich Seibert, holding hands. They flinched when they saw LeVar Arrington come into the neutral zone. Bruce Smith wasn't aware of that, so he felt he was drawn
Please
offside.
reset the game clock to 1:51.
You saw George Edwards, the 36-year-old defensive coordinator of the Redskins, who took over for Marvin Lewis, who left after 1 year with Steve Spurrier to become head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's done a pretty good job, and now he has the Giants 3rd and 24, even after that Redskin penalty. Ball on the 29 of New York. And again, they'll go to the handoff to Barber. Barber going against the secondary, and the first man to hit him was Ifeanyi Olete, the strong safety, and he gets 11 yards out of that. And now there's a finger pointing over at the Giants sideline, and another flag is thrown.
And Tiki Barber was really slow getting up after that play.
They have had a flurry of penalties in the last minute and a half. on every play.
It's a little heated in these division games.
Number 54.
Oh, no.
Defense. First down.
Oh, what a break for the Giants. So first you have the neutral zone penalty on the defense on Arrington, and then Jeremiah Trotter with a personal foul, and the Giants find themselves with a first down in Redskin territory with 1:41 to go, and all Steve Spurrier can do is shake his head after all of that.
At one point, it was 3rd down and 29. Brian Mitchell still taunting from the sideline. You better watch it. He's going to get a 15 on him. A 3rd and 29, and after all of that, the Giants still maintain possession. That lack of discipline, that's to a whole new level right there.
And the Giants still have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. They're on the Redskin 41, and first down. Now Kerry Collins completes it to the fullback, Jim Finn, and Finn gets another first down for the Giants, going out of bounds inside the 30. So now the Giants are in business. And, you know, when you start adding it up at this half, you're going to say that the Redskins have done more to hurt themselves than the Giants have done to hurt the Redskins.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, it's just unbelievable that you could put yourself in a position to do that. And you know the frustration that Steve Spurrier has. I mean, that's unacceptable. I mean, you've got to know what's going on in the football game and maintain your composure.
First down on the 29 of the Redskins. And there is Collins, gets hit as he throws, and here's Toomer trying to reach for it, and the pass incomplete. Stops the clock with 1:29, and a 2nd and 10 ensuing.
Kerry Collins stands right in the pocket with a blitz coming right into his face. I mean, he's got everybody coming in. Martin Chase is coming in to get him. Bernard Holsey. They're all coming right up the middle. He stands there in the pocket. Here comes Jesse Armstead. Everybody's coming in. And you see the arm strength that he has. That's flat-footed, and that is 40 yards downfield.
You remember when people were doubting whether Kerry Collins was the right quarterback for the Giants. He's been more than right. He's been a terrific quarterback for this team. And he continues to prove it. 2nd and 10 from the 29, and the Giants will use their first timeout. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the new and improved Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Well, a big game, and both of these teams are looking at the bottom of the barrel and seeing the Philadelphia Eagles at 0-2. And the Redskins are saying, hey, if we can pull out a victory over the Giants, we're 2 games up on the loss column of both the Giants and the Eagles. The Giants don't want to give up more of an advantage to Philadelphia at this point. So it's been a sort of a topsy-turvy, you know, NFL East.
And the big thing on the other side of that, the flip side, the New York Giants, their mindset coming in, whoever wins this game is leading the NFC East at this point in the season. It's still very early, but a win by the Giants puts them both at 2-1, and they're right there at first place with the Redskins.
2nd and 10 after the Giants use their first timeout. Ball at the 29, and here's Tiki Barber cutting upfield, and Barber trying to lunge for an extra yard. Champ Bailey grabs him, and they get it to the 24-yard line after Barber's 5 yards of gain, and the clock running. Tiki has gained 70 yards on 16 carries. And Brian Mitchell into the Giant huddle as we have a minute remaining in the first half. Mitchell and Barber both in the backfield. 3rd and 5. Collins on a big 3rd down play in the first half, and the pass caught for the first down by Barber. And the Giants keep it going as the clock runs, and the timeouts will be critical, and they will use one of them right here. So with 37 seconds remaining, the Giants now left with 1 timeout. But this has been a strange kind of game, and I'll have to say this, even though the Redskins have shot themselves in the foot most of this half, the Giants seemingly are taking advantage of every time they have.
That's the big thing. They have taken advantage of that. And you'll see a game where the opposition is making mistakes, yet you don't do anything with that. The Giants this afternoon have done everything right when the Redskins have self-destructed. And Steve Spurrier is going to be absolutely furious at halftime. I mean, that last one, 3rd and 29, really, you're still in the football game at 14-3, and to have a breakdown that allows the Giants to maintain possession, if they come away with even a field goal here, I mean, he's going to go ballistic when he gets inside.
You had a great point. You said, you know, you don't apologize for being 2-0, but there are things that Steve wanted to fix up, and one of them was the discipline. Too many penalties. Looks like they've got to go back to the drawing board.
And even worse this week, some really, really critical penalties that are sustaining drives.
First down on the 18 with nearly a half a minute to go, and the pass dropped by Barber. And that may not be all that bad a thing as the clock stops with 33 seconds and 1 timeout remaining. Giants in field goal range. Matt Bryant, who of course has the black cloud over his head for squibbing that kick out of bounds in the final seconds against Dallas on Monday night, has still not missed a field goal this year. He has been very effective. Second down and 10. From the 18, and here is Collins to Amani Toomer out of bounds. He made the catch, stayed in bounds, and a first down at the 5-yard line, beating Fred Smoot on an out pattern. Good for 13 yards.
Watch this protection. Watch Tiki Barber step up on Jeremiah Trotter. Get up, eliminate the distance between you and the blitzing linebacker, and secure him, especially in the middle. He doesn't have as much room to maneuver. Get on him quick. Jim Fossil knows right now that his offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. The second half, you'll see a wide open Giant attack as they come out.
And they're starting to open it up even in the second quarter of this game. It'll be 1st and goal at the 5. Brian Mitchell and Tiki Barber flank Kerry Collins, and Collins' pass, and he threw it away, and he knew that Ike Hilliard was covered and purposely threw it over the goalpost, bringing up 2nd down and goal.
That's the one thing that I've noticed about Kerry Collins this season, is how much mature he is, how much more composed he is. And, you know, they talked about last week, what happened in that Dallas game last week, in the second half of that game, especially the 4th quarter. You know, a couple of years ago, Kerry Collins wouldn't have been able to come back out and do that, to bring that team back and put them in a position to possibly win that football game.
Asante Shanko, the number 3 pick from Oregon State, not far from here, has entered the game, 2nd tight end, 2nd down and goal at the 5. And here is Collins, and Collins to Hilliard, and Hilliard gets in, touchdown Giants. Hilliard with a catch, dove for the end zone, and the 5-yard touchdown pass gives the Giants a 20-3 lead. And for Hilliard, that is his 2nd scoring reception of the game.
Watch him finish this play. It's a quick flat pass, but watch the change of direction right there. Champ Bailey's moving up to make the tackle. Ike Hilliard plants one foot and gets directly north and south on that break and gets into the end zone.
Now Matt Bryant with 19 seconds remaining in the first half. And the Giants leading 21-3, and you have to go way back to where the Redskins had the Giants with 3rd down and 29, and 2 penalties gave them a first down, and the Giants wind up with a touchdown. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. And the new and improved Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Amazing how the Redskins have let the Giants off the hook, but as we've said, the Giants, hey, you want to give it to us? We'll gladly take it. Thank you.
We'll gladly take it. And I mean, the first quarter of this football game was played almost predominantly in the Giants' end of the field, and the Washington Redskins did nothing to take advantage of that. And now they find themselves down 21-3 at halftime. Now, they came back from 17 last week against Atlanta, but you could see some promise in there as they went into halftime. This week's going to be tough because they're going to go in there and they're going to get a tongue lashing from that gentleman right there.
And as you pointed out, it's not going to get any easier for the Redskins in the second half because the Giants are going to now take to the air, not concerned to be as conservative. As you look at Kerry Collins with a passer rating of 139.4. That would put you at the top of the heap, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You think Matt Bryant's going to squib this?
You have a great sense of humor, Moose.
It's down the middle.
Let's backtrack to Monday night. Returning it, Chad Morton. Now you tell me.
Oh, down the middle.
Down the
between
middle.
the hashes. I got it. I got it. See, I mean, we talked about at the beginning, you know, the Redskins apologizing for being 2-0. the Giants found out how hard it is to win a football game on Monday night. They thought they had it. I mean, anything can happen in the football game, and that's what the Redskins have to realize when they go in at halftime. Hey, we're just killing ourselves out there. Let's get regrouped. Let's stop making these stupid mistakes, extending the Giants' possessions. I mean, we're stopping them on third down, and we're giving them the ball back because of our penalties.
Redskins will have plenty of time to try to get back in the game, but right now their backs are against the wall at halftime as the final seconds tick off, and that is the end of the first half. With the score, the Giants 21, the Redskins 3. Fox NFL Sunday continues with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Really going to be this season. The Giants, on the other hand, they had questions to answer themselves, the adversity of the loss on Monday night, but these guys always respond to that. It's kind of a flip side situation. Now it's on the Redskins. What are you going to do in this second half to get back in this football game?
Mistakes, penalties, it started really from the first time they had the ball in this game, and facing, of course, a #1 quarterback for the first time this year in Kerry Collins, and he has responded with 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Ike Hilliard and 1 to Amani Toomer. Giants getting the ball as we start the second half with Brian Mitchell returning the kick. And Mitchell coming into a stone wall of white shirts as we take a look at the numbers of the first half.
This is the only one you got to see. 9 penalties for 75 yards, and not only the number, but the time that they happen in the game, what they resulted in. A big offensive play that gets called back, a 3rd and 29 situation, and they stop them and then give them the ball back because of another penalty.
How about the last 4 quarters since halftime on Monday? Collins 28 for 50, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 3 of those TDs to Ike Hilliard, number 88. So what a turnaround for him. First down on the 25, and Tiki Barber around left end, getting 7 yards on first down. Giants again going with a patchwork and young offensive line, featuring 2 rookies, Wayne Lucier at center and David Deal, the right guard. Deal started the opener at right guard. Chris Bober, who had been the center, playing right tackle. Rich Seibert has been the steady man, and Luke Pettigrew coming back after suffering back spasms last week. 2nd and 3 from the 32, and this time they go with Tiki off the right side, and maybe a yard. Will bring up 3rd and short with Ronaldo Wynn in on the play for Washington.
Jim Fossil content to start out this second half exactly how he started out the football game earlier today, with handing the ball to Tiki Barber. I really feel that now he has to realize that offensive line that I really feel was unfairly criticized in their performance on Monday night. I thought they did a good job under the circumstances. Kerry had 2 sacks, but other than that, they did a nice job up front against the Dallas Cowboys. It's time to just turn it loose. Don't sit on this lead.
Yeah, you don't make it on 3rd down. The Redskins have some impetus with a lot of time. So the Giants trying to move the chains, and they will not, as a flag goes down, as Tim Carter was hit by Fred Smoot.
Surprise, surprise. Another first down on a penalty by the Washington Redskins.
And it'll be on Fred Smoot. I can read Johnny Greer's lips, and it will be a first down on the penalty.
Oh, man. Well, the point didn't get across at halftime. I mean, he's all over his back. There's a difference between tight coverage and something you're going to give the official an opportunity to throw the flag.
Fred Smoot, and there was some question as to whether he would play after suffering a concussion in practice on Thursday. If he hadn't, the Redskins would have really had to go down deep in the secondary. Meanwhile, the Giants spread it out on first down on the 38-yard line, and here is Collins and Carter making the reception, picking up 5 yards. Here's Kerry Collins and his throws by distance in this game.
It seems to be at his worst when he's under 10 yards, so let the guy air the ball out. He's 7 for 7 when he's 10 yards plus. Enough of these short passes. They seem to be content coming out and attacking Fred Smoot, regardless of what he's doing on the football field today. To have a concussion in the middle of the week and to be on the football field, you're not 100%. So, it's a good job by Jim Fossil to attack him. Let's see how healthy he really is out there.
2nd down and 5 on the Giant 43. 2 minutes into this second half, and T.G. Barber diving will be shy of the first down by more than a yard, close to 2 with Ohalete and Armstead. So once again, the Giants with a 3rd and short. Last time they managed to get the first down on yet another Redskin penalty.
Tiki Barber limping off the field.
Delvin Joyce in for him.
See what... Looks like he might have banged shins with Jesse Armstead at the end of that play.
3rd down and 2. And they have 5 receivers, including Jeremy Shockey, the tight end. 3rd down and 2, and this pass batted down. Good defensive play by Champ Bailey, trying to get it to Amani Toomer, but certainly not trying to extend the defense on that play.
Well, Champ Bailey only gave up 1 touchdown last season. He's given up 2 this afternoon. He's got a lot to prove in this second half. The Redskin defense need their playmakers to step up. Champ Bailey, LeVar Arrington, Bruce Smith, these guys, they got the game turned around last week in Atlanta. They're going to have to do the same thing this week. And this guy right here, Chad Morton, he has the ability to make a big play to turn the momentum of a game around.
He's had a couple of good returns so far today as Jeff Eagles prepares to punt, and Morton standing back on his 10. This kick bounces at the 5, and the Giants will down it inside the 5-yard line. Great hustle downfield and a great hang time. Kato Serwanga inside the 5.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Early here in the 3rd quarter, the Giants in front 21-3, and Jeff Eagles already paying dividends. They're coming over from the Seattle Seahawks. The Redskins will begin from the 3-yard line, trailing 21-3. And the audible, and the Giants moving in, and let's see whether a false start will be called against the Redskins, which would be half the distance.
False start. 76.
John Jansen.
Offense.
What do they talk about at halftime, Daryl? Have any idea?
I thought they probably would like to have eliminated some penalties in the second half, but so far each side of the ball has started the game with a penalty in this half.
1st and 11. Back on the 2. Hand off to Sean Candidate, and Candidate barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Knocked down maybe to the 1. And the Giants close it off. So this is getting interesting. 2nd down and 12 from the 1-yard line. Lance LeGree playing in place of Keith Jackson, filling the gap there.
The Giant defensive line does a good job of getting some surge. They bottle everything up. Sean Candidate does a nice job of getting out of the end zone to prevent the safety, because there was not a whole lot of running room right there.
Redskins have been hit with 11 penalties for 80 yards. That's not a 2-0 team. 2nd and 12, and the handoff to Candidate, who's got the speed, finds an opening and brings it out to about the 7-yard line, with Sean Williams making the play. So 3rd down coming up, 3rd and long for the Redskins. And this becomes a pivotal play for the Redskins here. Otherwise, they face punting from deep in their end zone, giving the Giants, who have the 21-3 lead, great field position. 3rd and 7. And another audible called by Patrick Ramsey with 7 on the play clock, and the handoff to Candidate. First forward, and Trunk Candidate should have the first down. It'll be close. It was Brandon Short who made the tackle. Very close to the first down is Candidate, and the Redskins getting out of severe danger. They were backed up to their own 1-yard line.
There's a gap right there. That's what Patrick Ramsey saw. That's why he audibled at the line of scrimmage. Brian Johnson and Randy Thomas do a good job getting around that hole, moving people out of the way. That's a huge play right there.
Instead of forcing the Redskins to punt from the back of the end zone, Redskins on the 14, 1st and 10. They're not out of the woods yet, however. And it'll be play action for Ramsey And he's going deep for Lavernius Coles, and the pass is intercepted by the Giants, and it's Will Allen bringing it back. And Will Allen with a great interception downfield as the Redskins try to go deep, returns it 22 yards, and the Giants get it back in Washington territory.
Well, he steals this one from Lavernius Coles. Look at that. What a great interception by Will Allen.
So as it turns out, the Giants, they won't get it deep in Redskin territory, but they're there anyway.
Well, you have to see this interception by Will Allen. They talk about football being a game of inches. Watch how close this is to an 86-yard touchdown. Look at the concentration right there. That is full extension. Boom. That's the difference between an 86-yard touchdown or Giants ball, 1st and 10 at the 38.
You won't see a better interception than that one. 38-yard line, 1st down, and Collins dropped by Ike Hilliard. And it's 2nd down and 10. So the first turnover of the game, and the Giants getting the interception. Last week, Ralph Brown had an interception early against the Dallas Cowboys and returned it for a touchdown. And this crowd at FedEx Field has been silent. They have been quiet. They have been disappointed.
Disappointed mainly.
Yep. Here's an audible Kerry Collins style on 2nd and 10. And this pass incomplete. Amani Toomer covered by Champ Bailey.
The Giants have an opportunity to throw a knockout punch right now, and you know, they cannot let this get away. I mean, they watched the tape last week. They saw the Redskins come back from 17 down when we thought that they were out of that football game. Will Allen makes a great play, gives the offense the ball in this field position. It's to the mark of a great team. They put away a team at some point during the football game, and you avoid situations like they had on Monday night.
You don't want to keep a team in the game, but the Giants somehow have made a habit of doing that. 3rd and 10 on the 38 with 9:42 remaining in the quarter. Crowd getting into it somewhat. And here is Collins going for Shockey, and it's overthrown, and it'll be 4th down coming up. So the Redskins avoid real trouble following that interception. And Jeff Beagles will come in to kick it away. One of the things the Giants have not been able to do, even in their successful years, put away teams. They have had trouble doing that, Daryl, even the good teams that they played and the teams that haven't been as good, and they've let clubs stay in it.
Stay on your crossing route and work on it. They're deep on you.
Beagles trying to keep it inside the 10. Fair catch by Chad Morton at about the 10-yard line. We'll be back. Redskins ball, trailing the Giants 21-3. 9:29 remaining in the 3rd. Giants 21-3. And after early field position for the Redskins, in which they only got the field goal from John Hall, this is the 5th straight possession that the Redskins have started from the 20-yard line or in. This one at the 11. Liddell Betts is the setback for Patrick Ramsey, but it's going to be pass all the way. And Ramsey goes underneath to Liddell Betts. And Betts in the open field can be a little tricky too. Picks up the 1st down for the Redskins. A 14-yard pickup to the 25.
I'm really impressed with Liddell Betts. They talk about him being their straight-ahead downhill runner, but he's got some really nifty feet. Had a great touchdown run last week, running through some small openings in the Falcons defense, and right there he made a whole lot out of nothing. That's just a little check down. Patrick Ramsey being smart with the football, and Liddell turns it into a 1st down.
That second leading rusher coming in has actually carried a few more times than Ron Kennedy. And here is Betts again, and he's tough to bring down. You saw the Giants try to grasp him as a flag flies. 3-yard pickup for Betts. Michael Strahan bringing him down.
Holding, number 50, offense. Still 1st down.
And Betts comes off the field limping. Not good news for the Redskins, nor is the fact that they've committed yet another penalty. They've been in double digits. Larry Moore, the center, called for holding. 12 penalties, 91 yards.
It's tough to overcome in the afternoon when you got that many penalties going against you. And the timing, God, absolutely the worst possible times.
That's going to be the number one bit of attention for the Redskins as the flags fly again as the candidate goes off the right side, and this one will go against the Giants offsides. We'll make it a 1st down and 15.
Offside, 72, defense. Your 1st down.
Rookie Osi Umenyiora.
Michael Barrow talked to us about the special shoes that OC wears. He says he wears the wide receiver type shoes, and speed is the name of his game. So they're called tempo shoes, and he's an up-tempo guy, but you don't see very many defensive linemen wearing a 3/4 shoe.
Maybe he'll go downfield on a play one of these days. Ramsey's pass, and it's ruled a catch. Great catch at the 30-yard line by Rod Gardner with Will Peterson all over his back, short of the 1st down by 5 yards. And right now for a game break, let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, not good news for St. Louis. Take a look at Marshall Faulk on this play right here at the start of the 3rd quarter in that pile there. He fell awkwardly on his hand. You see him holding the left hand. Confirmed a fractured left hand. Right now, St. Louis nursing a 23-17 lead. Back to Dick Stockton.
JB, thank you very much. 2nd down and 5 for the Redskins. That catch by Gardner was his 1st of the afternoon, and Ramsey trying to force the play in to his tight end, Robert Royal, throws it incomplete. 3rd down and 5. We have had very few instances, Moose, where we have seen this crowd. I mean, you got to go back to the days of RFK Stadium when it was rocking so much that it would reverberate. I know you were down there playing, but reverberate up in the press box. And this crowd has been so void today, except for their threat early in the game. And once they started making mistakes and then committing penalties, this crowd is just sitting and watching as if they were at the opera.
Yeah, the Redskins haven't given them much to cheer about this afternoon.
3rd down and 5. This is not a home field advantage by any stretch for the Redskins. From the 30-yard line, here's Patrick Ramsey, dumps it off to Liddell Betts. Cuts inside, 1st down. Betts made a good play. Dhani Jones brings him down, but not before a 9-yard pickup, and they move the chain.
Oh, you talk about great vision by a running back. Patrick Ramsey stepping up into the pocket, moving to his right, finds Liddell Betts all the way to the left side of the field, and in the last second dumps the ball off. Watch here as he drops back, the play breaks down, everybody's covered. He starts to move to his right, and then at the last second out of the corner of his eye, he sees Liddell Betts breaking into the open.
Patrick Ramsey has gotten good protection for the most part in this game. 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line and up the middle, and Royal can't hold on to it again. So Robert Royal, who is a rookie, replacing Zeron Flemister. And they flag down and the signal that it may be a personal foul, roughing the passer against Patrick Ramsey.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 94, defense.
And a penalty against William Joseph, the other Giant rookie up front, and a 1st down for Washington.
Well, there's the ball being delivered. It's actually that he went to the head. He didn't hit him late. He actually went to the head of Patrick Ramsey. You see that forearm come up right into the face. At the other end of this throw, Robert Royal has got to make this play. This is a team that is struggling all afternoon, and somebody's got to step up and make a play besides Patrick Ramsey or Lavernius Coles.
And Coles are nobody for the Redskins. 1st and 10, and the slant to Coles. He makes the catch for a gain of about 4 yards with Will Allen on the coverage. As we wind down to 6.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter, 21-3 to score. You pointed out we saw a big comeback last week by the Redskins, so you're really never out of the game, especially with the defensive plays, turnovers, onside kicks, and all that. So 21-3, the Giants are hardly safe as the Redskins operate 2nd and 5 in Giant territory at the 41. Got it down, and another good defensive play, this time by Will Allen again, and trying to go to Lavernius Coles again was Ramsey.
as a cornerback, if you want to play against the best football player, you want your coaches to have the confidence to put you up against their best player and show that you can shut him down during the course of the game. And Will Allen has been matched up with Lavernius Coles quite often this afternoon. You saw the athletic interception. You saw the break on the ball right there. These guys, they don't shy away from strong competition. They want to play against the best to see where they're at.
And even more so, forget about comments they make. Everyone's writing and talking about Coles all week. Will Allen is saying, well, I'm going to show what I can do against him. And he has raised his game a notch or two. 3rd and 5 from the 41. And here's Ramsey drilling it down the middle, and the pass is caught at the 15 by Patrick Johnston. So finally, the Redskins find a receiver other than Lavernius Coles to make a big play. 27-yard pickup to Johnston and a first down at the 15.
Patrick Johnston beats his man immediately at the line of scrimmage. He gets around Kato Sirwanga, gets over the top, and Sean Williams cannot get there in time. But that route was won right at the line of scrimmage on the release by Patrick Johnston.
And that is his first catch of the season for the 3rd wide receiver, Patrick Johnston. Darnarian McCants also has been battling him for that spot. 1st and 10 at the 14. Liddell Betts going out in a passing pattern, but Ramsey not looking his way. Instead, he goes to McCants, who gets the first down inside the 5-yard line. And let's see where they spot it. It appears that the Redskins will have a 1st and goal at the 4.
Patrick Ramsey now is looking for Lavernius Coles in one-on-one situations, but when they go to the zone coverages, he knows that they're going to rotate over the top to give some help. Now he's going to other receivers. Darnarian McCants on that situation. You saw Patrick Johnston before that. That's the great thing about having a multitude of weapons on the outside. If there's only one guy, you can take him away, but these guys have some weapons.
And great adjustment for Spurrier. He says, look, Coles is being blanketed by Allen. I got to go to some other people. So Ramsey 6 for 8 for 75 yards on the drive. 1st and goal at the 4, and here's Ramsey up the middle, and the pass intended for McCants. A flag is down, and the Giants may be called for pass interference. Mike Barrow, the middle linebacker, defending on the play.
Pass interference, number 58, defense. The interference is in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
You heard that. It was in the end zone, so that ball goes to the 1-yard line. If that happened outside the end zone, it'd be half the distance. So, tough spot for Mike Barrow, though. You've got the whole middle of the field wide open. You got a wide receiver coming across. You're just doing all you can to try and make sure he stays covered. And
Lenny Friedman, a right guard, is in as a tight end, and here's Rock Cartwright, and he's going to lose 3 yards back to the 4. 1st and goal at the 1, and the Giants faced by Michael Strahan, who all of a sudden becomes ferocious, and the loss bringing up 2nd and goal from the 4.
That is just unbelievable penetration by that Giant defensive line on their left side. It's like they knew what play was coming. They got a tremendous push over there. The running back had absolutely nowhere to go. Look at the push. They're pulling people on the goal line. I don't know. I think you just open up an opportunity for a guy to get upfield immediately when you pull down close on the goal line.
2nd down and goal from the 4. And Ramsey spreading it out, and his pass is caught by McCants for a touchdown. The first touchdown of the day by the Redskins, ending a 21-point unanswered spurt by the Giants.
The same matchup that we had earlier on the pass interference call. It's Darnarian McCants versus Michael Barrow. This time he goes over the top, instead trying to beat him across his face. Patrick Ramsey finds him in the back corner of the end zone.
2nd touchdown catch of this young season for Darnarian McCants, and John Hall for the extra point. So the Redskins come back with 3:47 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. The Giant lead is sliced to 21-10. To the lines as Brian Mitchell back to return the kickoff as the Giants lead now 21-10, an 89-yard drive, and Ramsey getting terrific protection was 7 for 9 on that drive. The 4-yard touchdown pass to Darnarian McCants. So it's an 11-point game right now with the 3:47 remaining in the 3rd. You don't want to let a team off the mat, and that's what the Giants have done to this point right now.
1st and 10 at the Redskin 38 after Will Allen's interception. They had a chance to throw the knockout punch, and they didn't do it.
And the kick heading over towards Delvin Joyce, who decides to run it out from a yard in. And there's Delvin Joyce trying to turn the corner. And this will be a terrific return as the Giants sent Joyce back there along with Mitchell, something they hadn't done in this game. He returned.
One Day is brought to you by Microsoft. Your potential, our passion.
And this is the loudest this crowd has been all day. Trailing 20.
Smith, he's got that play sniffed out, and he's going to make a tackle about 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Good hustle by Luke Pettigrew, peeling back on that reverse to pick off Bruce Smith.
2nd and 4. Barber. Second effort will get him the first down. Good second effort by Tiki Barber, gets 5 yards. He now has 86 yards rushing on 20 attempts in the game. In the third quarter.
I think this team thrives on adversity. I mean, they absolutely thrive on it. They've been floundering around the whole second half. They've had an opportunity to put this thing away, and they don't do anything until the Redskins get back in the football game.
That's the way they play their seasons.
They got to learn to be a front runner. They've got enough talent to be a front runner.
First down on the 44 of the Giants. Here is Collins. Good catch by Hilliard and wrestled out of bounds by Smoot. And close to the first down in Redskin territory at the 46-yard line. Maybe short by a half a yard.
Fred Smoot wanted a face mask penalty at the end of that play, but I'm pretty sure Ike Hilliard did a good job of getting his hand off of it. Once he got his hand on that face mask, he pulled it off right away. It's only if you leave it there and give it a tug.
5 catches, 44 yards. 2 of those 5 have been for scores for Ike Hilliard, out last year after that tremendous hit in the Eagles game by Brian Dawkins. And this one will go against the Giants. A false start called against the New York
Prior to the
line.
snap, false start, number 67.
Chris Bober.
Offense. Still second down.
So instead of a 2nd and 1, which allows you to do just about anything on that down, now you're looking at 2nd and 6. Giants may be catching up to the Redskins in the penalty department. They have committed 8, only 4 behind the burgundy and gold. In fact, the Giants have the lead over the Redskins in the penalties this quarter. What do you get for that?
Nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
And the Giants calling timeout, their first of the second half. Minute 31 remaining in this third quarter. The Giants, after falling behind 3-0 on a John Hall field goal, ran off 21 unanswered points. All 3 courtesy of Kerry College touchdown passes before Patrick Ramsey hit McCants. Major League Baseball on Fox returns next Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, with the final run to the playoffs, including the race for both wild card spots and the National League Central title. New York Yankees on their way to clinching the AL East. Big fight in the baseball in the American League, the wild card between Boston and Seattle, and also Seattle battling Oakland. Following the timeout, Giants with 2nd and 6 and an empty backfield and a flag down. The pass is bobbled and caught, but we're going to have another Giant penalty.
False start, number 66.
And this time it's David Deal, the rookie from Illinois. So the Giants with back-to-back false starts, sandwiching a timeout. And it looks like they're losing something off the wheels a little bit at this point.
Yeah, 2nd and 1, now to 2nd and 11. They kind of settled this crowd down before this little series of penalties and got the volume down a little bit, but now they're all juiced up again.
I never thought I would ever say that noise would be a factor in this game, but it is. Second down and 11. Collins pass caught by Hilliard, and Hilliard is dumped about a couple of yards short of the first down by Fred Smoot.
Man, say enough about Fred Smoot being on the field today. That's just a gutty performance, and he has done a good job. I'm very surprised. I mean, that was not just a little ding he had during the practice week. He got a good conk on the head, and I'll tell you what, he has shown no ill effects of it during the course of the afternoon today. That's a heck of a performance by Fred Smoot.
Third down and 3. And here comes the blitz on Collins, and Collins loses the ball. And Tiki Barber picks it up and covers it up to prevent disaster for the Giants, who are knocked back, way back, inside their own 40-yard line. And they sent them all, didn't they?
They really did. They had them coming from everywhere. LeVar Arrington, Jeremiah Trotter, both coming. Watch Tiki Barber. For all you young running backs out there, just get down on the ball. Don't try and pick it up and give the defense an opportunity. This is already a bad play. Go back, fall on the ball, cover it up, give your team the ability to punt the ball down the field. You see a lot of guys go back there, try and scoop that thing up and try and make something positive out of a bad play, and they end up putting it back down on the ground, and the defense gets it back.
Barber alertly falls on it. And the time runs out, but you want to see a momentum that could favor a team down by 11? You might say that about the Redskins, who trailed the Giants 21-10 after 3. Fox NFL Sunday. Start of the fourth quarter. The Giants will punt, leading 21-10, as the Redskins getting the tempo back on their side. Chad Morton to return the punt from Jeff Beagle. Fair catch inside the 20. Tremendous punting by Beagles with no return that time. Fox tonight, be there when America's top comedians team up to headline the 55th annual Primetime Emmy Awards, plus special tributes for Bob Hope and Bill Cosby. Catch it live tonight, 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Now it's up to the Giants defense to try to prevent the Redskins from getting something going again. They scored on their last possession, going 89 yards in the process. They begin from the 18-yard line. Front candidate is the running back. Ramsey trying to put it in the air, sees nobody, will run for it and get the first down and hold on to the ball. Right up the gut did Patrick Ramsey run to the tune of 18 yards.
That's what happens when you're playing man coverage. The quarterback drops back. He looks downfield. He can't find anybody open. You see everybody matched up man to man. Now, when these guys vacate the areas, look at the void that they leave for Patrick Ramsey. And a lot of the times they've got their back turned to the quarterback. They don't even know he's running until the defense starts to yell.
That's Ramsey's third scamper of the season. He's gained 45 yards in the process. On first down, the pocket goes down, and so does Ramsey. And flags will come up from upfield with McCants pointing at Will Peterson. Ralph Brown and Michael Strahan both getting to the quarterback here.
Another area of concern that Steve Spurrier wanted to work on today was protection. He really felt bad about that.
And the penalty will go against the Giants, so instead of a big loss on a sack, the Redskins will be looking at a first down.
Watch Michael Strahan right here. He's going to grab Rock Cartwright in protection and not allow him to get back inside to get Ralph Brown. That's a savvy veteran play right there. He's the reason that sack happened.
So an 8-yard loss seemingly for the Giant defense goes by the boards. Instead, the Redskins with a 1st and 10 on their 41. Just the start of things in the fourth quarter. The Giants lead the Redskins 21-10. And here is Ramsey going deep. And Ramsey's pass knocked away and nearly intercepted by Johnny Harris, but he ran into Will Peterson, I believe, and had the ball jarred loose. Rod Gardner was the receiver downfield for Washington.
Patrick Ramsey, he cannot make that throw. There's two guys in coverage. He's not going to make the completion. There's time you take your shots down the field. They're very fortunate that Johnny Harris was not able to hold on to that football. You see Will Peterson and Johnny Harris right there. Rod Gardner was the only receiver out on the route. You take your shots in one-on-one. They had two men covering him. There's no reason to let that ball go. You got to know pre-snap that the coverage doesn't favor you to get the ball downfield to take a shot.
2nd and 10. They just get it off in time, and the screen pass to Chad Morton. Morton has some running room. Morton, and he runs into 2 Giant defenders, but not before he gets a huge gain to the Giant 32-yard line. 27 yards on the screen to the former Jet, Chad Morton.
Watch Chad come across the formation, baits everybody. Watch him sell right there, finds his way out. Now the speed, but watch the big block coming up near the end of this run. Darnarian McCants, 85, right there. There's a big hit, peeling back.
Boy, he hit Johnny Harris coming over to McCants. And the big gain, so instead of the 8-yard sack, you had the penalty on the defense. The Giants are playing like the Redskins did in the first half, now making mistakes. First down, and here's Liddell Betts, gets tripped up and is held for a 2-yard loss. Back to the 34-yard line.
Good push by Lance Legree in that defensive front. Got upfield, got that play disrupted immediately. He was in the Redskins' backfield almost in time to take the handoff from Patrick Ramsey.
Again, Legree starting and playing the entire game in place of Keith Hamilton, the great run defender who was out with a hamstring pull.
Michael Strahan had a lot of good things to say about Lance Legree. He's a guy who was a backup player last year, but coming in, he says he's gotten stronger. He's more stout inside versus the run. Worked hard in the offseason. He's starting to pay some dividends.
It's the Redskins who call the timeout, and we'll be right back.
Campbell's Instead by Liberty Mutual. It's more than insurance, it's insurance in action. And by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Alexandria, Virginia. We can show you shots from Virginia, Maryland, District of Columbia. We can go far and wide. Maybe we'll hit North Carolina.
North Carolina almost ended up here.
Good point. 2nd down and 12 on the 34 after the timeout. Ramsey with time, drills it, and nearly intercepted by Sean Williams, the Giants' strong safety.
Sometimes you see throws in this offense, and you're kind of like, what went wrong there? And this offense is built on throwing the ball to a spot and making the onus on the receiver to get back to that spot. So a lot of times there's miscommunication between receiver quarterback. I think Patrick Ramsey just said, that was my fault, Darnarian.
Because we did not see a receiver in the picture. So 3rd down, 12 from the Redskins 34. Less than 3 minutes into this 4th quarter. Another whistle, delay of the game against the Redskins. That's the 2nd time they've been called for a delay of the game.
Delay. Offense. Still 3rd down.
Why can't they get their plays out on time?
Well, the big thing is because they come to the line of scrimmage with the potential to audible so much. They've got to get in and out of that huddle a lot quicker. You've got to get your initial play to Patrick Ramsey so he can get it called to the huddle and they can get to the line of scrimmage with at least 15 seconds. So if there is something he wants to change to, he's got plenty of time. That's where the miscommunications come. That's where the blown coverages come, or the blown protections, because guys aren't getting the message because it's so hurried.
3rd down and 17, and knocked him out of field goal range, and now a deflection on the pass as Ramsey was looking for Lavernius Coles. So 4th down coming up, and Brian Barker will come in to kick.
It's like when each one of these teams gets right about at the opposition's 40, the whole offense falls apart. I mean, we've seen it from the Giants in the 3rd quarter after Will Allen's interception. The Redskins have really done it pretty much all afternoon. They get to that 40-yard line and they go into brain lock.
Mitchell back deep, and Brian Barker to kick it, and this one heading for the end zone, and they cannot keep it in play, and it'll be the touchback with the Redskins taking over, or the Giants that is, on the 20-yard line. 39-yard kick. Bruce, the Redskins defense not playing all that badly. Have really tightened it up here in the 2nd half.
They really have. You look at that one right there. That's the important one. Washington's 38. That's when the Giants had an opportunity to seal this game, and they went 3 and out.
1st down Giants on their 20. Kerry Collins handing off to Tiki Barber, and Barber is cut down. Good pursuit by Jermaine Haley, who was out last week with a broken thumb. and did not play. And a lot of no names up front, Daryl. You talk about Polsey, who's a former Giant, and Haley, and Wynn, and Chase, and Galt. A lot of people not heard of most of those folks.
No, that was supposed to be the weak link in this defensive group. We all know about the linebackers. You talk about Fred Smoot and Champ Bailey in the secondary, but everything starts up front. Those guys do a great job of allowing those linebackers to run free and make plays.
Second down and 12. Showing blitz are the Redskins, and they're going to send a couple, and the pass quickly thrown to Toomer, incomplete. And that'll bring up third down. And right now, let's send you for another game break to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, with the score tied at 13, take a look at Jeff Blake. Play action here to Emmitt Smith, hooking up with the fullback James Hodgins for the Arizona score. Less than 4 minutes left in regulation. Arizona looking for its first victory of the season. That would be over Green Bay. Back to Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston.
Not only that, I saw fans out there. I actually saw fans at Sun Devil Stadium. But they probably are Packer fans. Meanwhile, Ifeanyi Ohalete, the strong safety, is shaken up. Ohalete beat out David Terrell for the strong safety position. Very aggressive player, and will take a timeout and return in a moment.
NFL Sundays, brought to you by Saturn, makers of the highly adaptable View redesigned L Series and the fun-to-drive Ion.
Ohalete running off on his own power, and Andre Lott, number 34, replacing him at strong safety. Third down and 12 for the Giants. Collins out of the shotgun from the 18. And pressure on Collins again, but it's picked up by the Giants, and his pass tipped incomplete. And it's the old matchup again of Bailey on Toomer, and the Giants will have to punt.
Good coverage by Champ Bailey on Amani Toomer.
There's a flag down, and we may have a hold as Barber gets up slowly.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 77, offense, is declined. Fourth down.
That was good coverage by Champ Bailey on the outside, but also a good job by Amani Toomer, making sure that that ball was not intercepted. Luke Pettigrew gets hands to the face.
Fourth down, and Fiegels will punt from inside the 10, inside the 5 actually, and Chad Morton looking for a return to try to bring the Redskins closer. His punt will drop and take a giant bounce, touched by Morton. He picks it up, trying to make something out of nothing. Flag is down, and that'll may go against the Redskins.
No, I think it's going to be a face mask on the Giants.
Hey,
Chad Morton got real lucky. You never let a punt hit the ground. It was only about 10 yards away from him. You don't know what the hop is going to do. He's got to get up there and make that catch.
Marcellus Rivers on special teams on the coverage. And this would be a big one.
Personal foul, face mask, number 83 of the kicking team. First down.
And Chad Morton really dodges a bullet here. He's going to get a huge break. There's 83, Marcellus Rivers. The hand gets up, gets caught on the face mask, and he doesn't let it go. That's why you got the 15-yarder.
And the report on Ohalete, lower back strain. They don't know whether he'll be back. But you know one thing, on a game in which we've had 24 penalties and almost 200 yards marched off, the Redskins find themselves on the Giant 49. Plenty of time remaining, nearly 11 minutes in the fourth quarter with a first down. Play action for Patrick Ramsey. Trying to find a receiver, and he does. It's Lavernius Coles, who spins his way to a first down to the 35. Pickup of 13. Nifty play by Coles after the missed tackle by Allen and Peterson.
Patrick Ramsey does a nice job at checking down to Lavernius Coles because he wanted Rod Gardner deep down the field, but he stumbled on his break. And there's that ability to run after the catch that Lavernius Coles learned when he was a running back in college.
First down on the Giant 36, and the pitch to Liddell Betts. Got some blocking, and Betts ridden out of bounds by Brandon Short. And a gain of 5 on first down. Well, the game definitely is swung over to the Redskins side. because they have had one good 89-yard drive. Their defense has held the Giants, and the Giants have committed some atrocious penalties here in the second half.
Now, they've gotten bit by the penalty bug here in the second half with some really critical calls, just like the Redskins in the first half, not only having the penalties, but having it at the worst possible times.
2nd and 5 on the Giants 31. Ramsey, pump fake, and going deep to McCants. And let's see if he was out of bounds. He was out of bounds, covered by Sean Williams downfield, going for 6 that time.
You see at the end of this play, the crowd wanted a penalty, a little bit of contact. What a heck of a catch by Donarian McCants. Great concentration.
Even though both his feet were out of bounds in the end zone or out of the end zone.
Yeah, there goes the crowd. They just saw the replay here at the stadium. It looked like there was some contact. The question is whether that ball was catchable in play.
Are they on a 7-second delay here like they do on radio shows? 3rd down and 5. And the slant to Coles. He drops it as he was hit simultaneously by Will Allen. So 4th down coming up, and John Hall will come on to attempt the field goal. Hall had a 53-yard attempt that hit the upright and missed after connecting on a 42-yarder to start the scoring today. This will be a 49-yard field goal try with Barker, the punter, holding.
This would make it a 1-possession game with a 2-point conversion. So this is a big kick for John Hall.
And Hall's kick, a line drive kick, it's no good. So John Hall has missed 2 out of 3, and the score remains 21-10 with 9:28 remaining. Bruce Reed giving kudos to his special team.
Pass kick. That means the Giants are going to overload this area right here because that has to be the flight of the ball. I think this ball was tipped after it was kicked. Number 99 might have gotten a hand on it right there. Keith Washington went up high. I think he got a tip. I actually thought I heard it up here in the booth.
1st and 10 at the 39, and the handoff to Tiki Barber, who dives forward to the 44-yard line, picking up 6 yards. Keith Washington, a very big pickup, and if you said you heard it, you know, I'll tell you what, you've got the greatest ears, because he just had the skin of his fingertip on that ball.
But I mean, it looked good when it was coming off the right hash. It looked like it had the right path, the right trajectory, and then all of a sudden it really went hard left and went down. So,
and the way the kick was line drive, and the way that the kick flowed after it was kicked showed that it might have been touched.
So much fun.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So much fun.
Daryl said he heard it, and I'm with him. 50%. Here is Kerry Collins swinging it out to Ike Hilliard, and the Giants get a 1st down into Redskin territory with Jeremiah Trotter on the coverage.
Well, do you think that was a big enough wake-up call for the Giants to get almost to a 1-possession game? Do you think they're going to turn it back on again now?
The question for the Giants always is how close is serious, you know, and that's been their story in seasons. Never put the chips to the middle of the table, and the last year again when the Giants were forced to, in desperation, win almost the remainder of their games.
And, you know, Michael Strahan, when we talk to him, he says, I think our problem is we want to come out and just kind of feel our way through football games, and, you know, how good are we? Can we be this good? Just come out and play.
1st down, Barber trying to go outside, flag down. Tiki Barber with a short gain and another penalty. That's a big one. Holding. Giants will go back into their own territory.
Holding. 66. Offense. Still 1st down.
David Deal, the rookie right guard.
David Deal's got a handful of jersey right there. Especially when the defender starts to spin away and you create that separation and the refs see that jersey start to stretch. You're going to get a flag, and that's the thing. I mean, we've had a lot of penalties today, but these are legit. I mean, they're not touchy things that could have well, we could have let that one go. There's been everything they've thrown a flag on has been a legitimate call.
Seattle taking the lead over St. Louis 24-23 with a minute to go in the 4th. Got a good one here. 1st and 20 back at the 40, and they swing it the other way to Tiki Barber, trying to find some running room following his blockers. And out of bounds he goes. Martin Chase making the tackle, and right now for the game break, let's check in again with James Brown in LA.
All right, Dick, let's take a look at the Seahawks here, capitalizing on this opportunity. 10 plays, 74 yards. Matt Hasselbeck hooks up with Corn Robinson, and the PAT is good. Seattle nursing a 1-point lead with exactly 1 minute left in regulation. Back to Dick and Daryl.
Be a huge win for the Seahawks, Moose, if they were to go 3-0 and beating the St. Louis Rams.
You have a game early in your season that's going to define yourself as a team. I think that's what that is for the Seahawks today.
Second down, and here is Jeremy Shockey, gets by one defender, and finally Fred Smoot brings him down. But it'll be third down and long for the Giants on the 47 of Washington. Jeremy Shockey, who has 4 receptions for 53 yards on the day. Giants leading 21-10. 2-possession game right now, with under 6.5 to play in this fourth quarter. They marked the ball at midfield. That was where the forward progress was for Shockey. So it'll be 3rd and 10. And the Giants are hanging around like they're ready to call a timeout. Lollygagging around, we should say, and they do. That's their second timeout. You guys never used to lollygag in Dallas, did you, when you called the time?
Huh? A little Bull Durham there, huh? They're lollygagging in the huddle. They're lollygagging on the way out of the huddle. What's that make them? Lollygaggers.
Well, we can have a little Bull Durham there. It's one of the great sports movies of our time. Want to remind you, coming up on the SBC postgame report, time permitting, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores from around the league, and the new and improved Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Jim Fossil trying to bring the Giants back from a nightmarish Monday night loss to the Dallas Cowboys to regain their footing at 2-1 if they can. All the Redskins want to do is stay undefeated.
New York, the ball was re-spotted. No timeout. Still third down.
So no timeout because there was a question on the spot. So the Giants still have 2 timeouts remaining. And the way this game is going, they may need them. 3rd down and 10. Pressuring Collins, fires it up for Hilliard, and the pass knocked away in a flank. Fred Smoot defending against Hilliard, knocked it away, and let's see if there was contact. And we are going to have a pass interference call against Fred Smoot, and he is enraged. And the Giants get a big break, and they'll have a first down deep in Redskin territory.
Regardless of what this call is.
Number 41, defense.
He actually called it on Matt Bowen, not Fred Smoot, so we'll check into the play. This is an unbelievable throw by Kerry Collins. He's backpedaling the whole way, throws it a mile in the air and floats it down there. Sure, there's contact right before the ball gets there, Dick. You were right, it's on 21, Fred Smoot. But that throw by Kerry Collins was unbelievable. Watch this as he's backpedaling. He's buying himself some time and just floats this thing up in the air and drops it right in the bucket. And we see them do a drill at practice. Yes. They're about 45 yards away, and they say who can be the first one to drop it in the bucket. That little game they play just paid some dividends.
How about for arm strength as Tiki Barber dives inside the 20-yard line. And right now, for a game break, let's again go to JB in LA.
All right, show you how Arizona comes up with its first victory of the season. Brett Favre back looking in the end zone, picked off by Dexter Jackson, formerly, of course, of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Green Bay drops to 1-2, fall into Arizona. The Cardinals pick up their first victory of the season, 20-13. Dick and Daryl.
A shocker.
A shocker. And it was supposed to be 103 degrees in Arizona today, so.
Well, it's 103 degrees in the Packer locker room right now, I'll tell you that.
It's on Mike Sherman's forehead.
Second down and 5, and Barber going nowhere. Ducks down in the middle. No gain on the play. Under 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Giants leading 21-10 and getting themselves in the worst at field goal range here. It would still be a 2-possession game, but those possessions would be touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's a big difference when you're talking touchdown field goal, which is where they're at right now. Obviously more difficult, but if this team wants to be the team that people think they could be with the talent they have. They need to score a touchdown right now and just put this game away. They've been hanging around all day trying to figure out what they want to do. Make a statement on this drive.
And here is Kerry Collins going for Amani Toomer, and out of bounds. He was double covered. So 4th down, and Matt Bryant will come on. By the way, Ifeanyi Oyelowo, who was shaken up before, did return. And so here is Matt Bryant. His first attempt today, 37 yards for Bryant, who has not missed on the year. Bryant is 4 for 4. Bad snap, and Bryant's kick, and the kick is no good, off to the right. You saw the snap come into the holder, and Bryant misses. Carson Dock, who is the long snapper. Let's take a look at the warm-ups.
Got a little bit of pull on that one. A little bit of pull on that one. Sometimes practice makes imperfect.
And that was a little push on that one.
A little push. You know what? There was a lot of movement before that snap, too, on the kick. And Jeff Feagles got up immediately and went to the official. Very surprised that I didn't see a flag one way or the other on that call. There was a tremendous amount of movement with the Redskins and the Giants before that ball was snapped.
So the first miss of the year for Matt Bryant, and it gives the Redskins some hope on the 27-yard line. 1st and 10, trailing by 21 to 10. And here's Ramsey, and Ramsey dropped by Rod Gardner. That pass would have been a 1st down and then some, and Gardner just couldn't hold it. That's a bad drop for Washington.
Yeah, he's looking to turn up the field before he's got the ball. You got to look at all the way in and secure that catch.
9 times today have the Redskin receivers drop passes.
Go back and take a look at this field goal. Look at all the movement before the snap. You got LeVar is moving. I don't know, maybe I was just seeing things before. I don't know. I guess it was just the linebacker level. They're off the line of scrimmage. It looked like it was just LeVar and Jesse and Jeremiah Trotter trying to get the push.
But that snap was not in an ideal position. 2nd and 10. Ramsey completes to Liddell Betts. That's a good block.
Oh, great.
And look at Liddell Betts down the sideline and out of bounds inside the Giant 40. Big catch and run for Liddell Betts. That's a 34-yard pickup and a good block by Rod Gardner downfield. And the Redskins threatening with just under 4 minutes on the clock.
Give the old rope-a-dope to Will Peterson. I think Will Peterson thought he was going to run out of bounds. He planted the foot and made it cut back inside. Probably got an additional 15 yards down the sideline. He starts to go inside, gets back out. Here comes Rod Gardner in with the block right there. But watch right here. I think Will Peterson thought he was going to run out of bounds, and he over-pursued him.
1st and 10. Redskins on the Giant 39-yard line. And here, under pressure, trying to ad-lib, and the pass out of the backfield to Betts is knocked down by Mike Barrow. 2nd down coming up, 3:48 remaining on the clock. Redskins have 2 timeouts remaining. It's interesting that the Redskins have the ball in Giant territory and a chance to make it a lot closer. You never know it by listening to the crowd right now.
Yeah, they get excited at times, but as an offensive player, I like silence. I used to get so mad in Dallas when our fans would get real excited when we had the ball, because especially these guys with the amount of audibles they do at the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 10. Ramsey's pass. He's tried to go to Gardner. Nowhere near him. So now 3rd down and 10 for Washington.
Back in Dallas, I used to do the wave when the offense was on the field. It used to drive me crazy. I mean, we're trying to do check with me's at the line of scrimmage, and the whole crowd is up. And, you know, defensively, when Bruce Smith is out there and he's getting those guys up on his feet, you know, the crowd gets up. You want to create an environment that makes it hard for the opposition's offense to communicate.
And the Giants are going to use a timeout right now. You saw the number on Gardner, only 1 reception today. So it's been, you know, they haven't really had those 2, what they call the Thunder and Lightning receiver tandem working today in Gardner and Coles.
But he had that great touchdown catch called back early in the 1st quarter. Then he had a critical drop on the play earlier in this series.
Giants had 12 men in the huddle, and so rather than take the penalty, they used their 2nd timeout. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. As we pay kudos to our technical and production staff, the Associate Director, Charles McDonald, the broadcast associates, Wayne Wilson and Michael Peoples. The technical producer is Bob Muller. The pregame show was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. As the Redskins line up 3rd down and 10 from the 39 out of the shotgun, Patrick Ramsey. And his pass is caught by Coles. Lavernius Coles diving and still on his feet, gets close to the 15-yard line. A huge 3rd down play, 23 yards. And there you see Patrick Ramsey got hit a little bit, flexing his right hand, but he's a tough one.
Oh, yeah, he is a very tough kid. A tremendous competitor. John Johnston's been doing a great job on Michael Strahan all day. That time he goes inside. Randy Thomas misses him. Michael Strahan gets his first hit on the quarterback this afternoon.
From the 17, Ramsey, and the pass knocked down. Gardner again, the intended receiver, and Will Peterson defending nicely for the Giants.
Well, he is really dropping that hand. He's still shaking his hand, trying to get it back. You don't know if he got hit on the funny bone. Now, last week he hurt his left shoulder. He fell on his left shoulder, his non-throwing arm, but we got some problems with his throwing hand right now. He's flexing it back and forth. He's trying to shake it. When he throws it, he drops it down. See the end of the play. Here comes Michael Strahan in right there. He puts it out and falls on it very funny.
Second down.
Right there, right as he gets up, you can see him. It kind of actually looked awful limp from the elbow down.
2nd and 10. Still on the 17. 3 minutes remaining, and the pass to Gardner is caught and out of bounds, stopping the clock at 2:57, picking up 9 yards. Peterson on the coverage. Remember, in a 2-possession game, the Redskins don't necessarily need a touchdown right here. The 3 could be the sure thing, and they want to get something, so they don't need a touchdown.
No, but they have to. Yeah, exactly. You've got to take points because you're a 2-possession game right now. You know, don't do something that takes that advantage away from coming down on the next series where you're still alive. So.
But they're close enough to get 6. On the 8-yard line, 3rd down and 1. Play action for Ramsey, and the pass to the 5-yard line to Patrick Johnson. 1st and goal at the 1. Patrick Johnson with his 2nd big reception of the game, and a hurry-up offense now with 2:42 to go.
This is Steve Spurrier's requirements for the QB. You look at number 1, courage in the pocket. He's got it with this kid right here. This is just an incredible display of courage on this drive.
And John Jansen lifted up.
Number 76.
And a false start. How bad is that if you're the Redskins? You have a 1st and goal at the 1, and now you go back 5 yards.
And it's on the audible again. If you look at what they're doing, it seems that every time they're going to change something, the guys are jumping on that first movement of what Patrick Ramsey's doing. But going back to this is the formula that he had success with in college. You look, courage in the pocket, his decision-making because of all the audibles and changing the play at the line of scrimmage, and then arm strength is down the ladder, and that's true with the quarterbacks he had at the University of Florida, but he's got all 3 with Patrick Ramsey right now.
1st and goal at the 6. The pass is caught, and it's a touchdown to Gardner. Ron Gardner. 6-yard touchdown pass. So Gardner, who's been missing in action for most of this afternoon, finally coming alive here as the Redskins climb to within 5, and now finding out whether they should go for 2 or the extra point.
They got to go for 2 to make it that 1-possession game. Rod Gardner just simply goes down, hooks up right in front of Will Allen. Good timing on the throw, and that's what this system is about. It's about throwing the ball on time.
And it's about making it a field goal game, so they go for 2 right here. Otherwise, if they don't get it, Redskins will still need a touchdown to pull it out. 2:27 on the clock. And Ramsey just looking for anyone to be open for him. And his pass caught. Darnarian McCants, and they get the 2 to cut it to 3.
This kid is awesome. He is such a competitor.
You know what? We were impressed with him last year when he came in against Jeff Fisher's Tennessee Titans and riddled them. What poise?
One of the best compliments I heard was from Wade Phillips last week against the Falcons when we talked to him. He said, the thing that scares me about Patrick Ramsey is when the game is on the line, he makes a play to win the football game. That's an incredible job of extending the play, and good job by Denarian McCann. He gets back into his line of vision. A lot of times these wide receivers, when the play breaks down, they run deep, they run back into corners. He came right into the middle of the field where Patrick Ramsey was working, got into his line of sight, and gave him an open throwing lane to get the ball delivered.
21-18. And what a bit of ad-libbing and heady play by Patrick Ramsey, only in his second year.
And watch at the end of the play. Watch what happens. Exposed, boom, another big hit by a defensive lineman. The kid is something special.
So it now is, as a result of the two-point conversion, a one-possession game. And Patrick Ramsey, only 5 for 15, 80 yards in the first half, has thrown for nearly 200 in the second with 2 touchdown passes.
It was similar last year. You know, they did the same thing last year, but they would take him out of the lineup.
Yes.
And Steve Spurrier has decided this year, I'm staying with him. He's our guy. I'm going to leave him in there. The last 2 games, they had struggled in the first half, and Patrick wouldn't have been in there. And both times, he's brought this team back.
And the kickoff, as Brian Mitchell came up, will go into the end zone for the touchback. And right now, for a game break again, let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, take a look at how Cleveland won its first victory of the season. 11 plays, 91 yards. Here, Kenny Holcomb hooks up with Andre Davis at the back of the end zone and make that a 17-play drive. That gave them their first victory. That one over San Francisco. Back to Dick and Daryl.
They're on their feet here, and you know, with the Browns winning their first, Arizona winning their first, all the Redskins want to do is win their third, and now it's the defense that takes over. But keep in mind that the Redskins have 2 timeouts remaining, and they have to use those timeouts on the defensive side.
And they've got the 2-minute warning coming up in 27 seconds, so they make one big defensive stand here. They're going to get the ball with plenty of time to move back down the field to get into field goal range.
From the 20, and Tiki Barber, not much. And the Redskins will call the timeout, leaving them with 1. And while we have a moment, we'd like to thank our spotter, Chris Visser, and our statistician, Rick Odioso, for yeoman work up here on the booth. And the rest of our stats crew, Mike Eldridge and Charlie Dameyer. Turned out to be what a Redskin-Giant game always is, a thriller going down to the wire. They always seem to be close. Giants have won 4 of their last 5 against the Redskins, and like the rest, a tight one.
And even though sometimes early in the football games in this rivalry, because it's a divisional game, sometimes one team will jump out to an early lead, but the other group always hangs in there. They always come down to the 4th quarter, late in the 4th quarter, with one team trying to find some way to make a play to pull out a victory.
Well, the Giants, by virtue of getting a couple of first downs, can make things a lot easy for themselves right here. 2nd down and 8 on the 22. And a penalty flag is down, and it'll be
Prior to the snap, false start.
False start.
Number 77, offense. Still 2nd down.
This crowd now is deafening. Penalty against Pettigrew for the false start will bring up 2nd and 13.
You just see him right there. He flinches just a little bit. And as you pointed out, Dick, it's because of the crowd noise. As a tackle on the road in a loud stadium, you are not going to hear anything. You're going on the movement of the other players.
And I'll tell you, having to worry about Bruce Smith on that side and all his tricks can do that to you. And the Giants will use their last timeout. Giants are out of timeouts, and the only time they would really need it, Moose, would be if for some reason they found themselves trailing and needed the ball back. Well, you know what? We saw some strange things on Monday night, didn't we?
You can never say never anymore in the NFL after last Monday night.
Redskins looking to get the ball back. They have 1 timeout left, and they'll have the 2-minute warning as well. By getting the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, needing a field goal to tie. Collins to throw. And the pass is tipped and nearly intercepted. Ike Hilliard was the intended receiver, but several Redskins, including Matt Bowen, had a chance at the ball.
And the reason that ball was not complete, Bruce Smith was right there. Big pressure on the outside. Kerry Collins cannot stuff up to make this throw. If Jeremiah Trotter doesn't tip that ball, I think Matt Bowen intercepts it.
I agree with you. It's in Bowen's hands then.
And you cannot, and that's, I tell you what, Tiki Barber did all he could. That's a tough job for David Deal to get out and get to Bruce Smith coming on a flat-out pass rush from the right guard spot.
Now it's 3rd and 13. Collins will swing it out to Brian Mitchell. And Mitchell will get out of bounds, and that's exactly what the Redskins want. That's exactly what they want. The clock stoppage at 2:08. They'll get another one at the 2-minute warning. And the Giants, with 4th down, will have to punt. And Brian Mitchell, in the process, has passed Jerry Rice for the NFL all-time lead in all-purpose yards. But right now, all he's thinking about is holding on for the Giants. Jeff Eagles will be kicking. Chad Morton is back deep. 2:08 on the clock.
He's thinking about, why didn't I stay in bounds on that last play?
And Eagles gets off a beauty. It's high, and the fair catch by Morton at the 28-yard line with 2:01. So the Redskins will be able to run off a play before the 2-minute warning. So they get a bonus there. Let's bring you up to date. Kerry Collins hitting Ike Hilliard to make it 7-3, and then the big play to Amani Toomer, 54 yards. The Giants looking very solid, led at one point 21-3, but McCants on the touchdown reception, bringing the Redskins back, and then Gardner moments ago, and then the 2-point conversion, cutting it to 21-18. And Collins with 3 touchdown passes, Ramsey with 2 today, and the Redskins with a 1st down on their 28. Needing a field goal to tie. And the pass is caught by Lavernius Coles. He'll run out of bounds just shy of midfield. Huge gain of 21 yards, and the 2-minute warning comes down with 1:53 remaining.
From Patrick Ramsey on that throw. This is just unbelievable. Watch his presence. He feels Michael Strahan coming. He pulls the ball away so it doesn't get knocked down. And look who's bearing down on him. Lance Legree right in his face. And he throws a strike to Lavernius Coles in perfect stride.
Late 1st-round pick out of Tulane was Patrick Ramsey. And he may be the quarterback that Steve Spurrier is long for. Coles over 100 yards for the 2nd straight week. And 3 straight games, including the Jets. 1st and 10 at the 49 of the Redskins. 1:53, and they have 1 timeout remaining. And this pass downfield, and the flag comes down. It's caught by McCants. He had his shirt held on to, and he caught it anyway. And it was Ralph Brown covering him. So he might have been interfered with, caught it anyway to the tune of 31 yards. And a 1st down for the Redskins. There's another penalty marker down.
Holding, 22, defense, it's declined, 1st down.
I don't know how he caught it being pulled that way.
Me neither. Remember, this is the guy who started everything kind of in the wrong way early in the game. Darnarian McCants makes a big catch, but gets a taunting penalty. Since that time, he has made some huge plays during this football game. A touchdown, the 2-point conversion, and right there, you mentioned it, Dick. Look at the concentration to make that catch. Look at Patrick Ramsey on the snap. High and to the right. The kid's composure. I mean, Patrick Ramsey's composure is amazing to me for a 2nd-year player in this league.
You know, we've said that the Redskins hadn't played a #1 quarterback until today. The Giants played a #1 quarterback in Patrick Ramsey today. Make no mistake about it. 1st and 10 for the Redskins, who are already in field goal range. They need 3 to tie it up. 1:44 to go, and remember, the Giants don't have any timeouts left should they get the ball back and need that possession to win. Ball is on the 19 of New York. Pressure on Ramsey, and he's going to be sandwiched by 3 blue shirts back at the 26-yard line, and it was Sean Williams who came up from the secondary, and the loss will be 4 yards as John Hall starts to limber up on the Redskins sideline. Hall has missed 2 field goals. One was a 53-yarder that hit the upright point, and then he missed the 49-yarder as Moose astutely saw that the kick was deflected by Washington. So Hall is waiting in the wings for the Redskins in a 21-18 game with 1:34 remaining, and now the Redskins using their 3rd and final timeout. So neither team has one.
Amazing that this game has come down to this. I mean, the Giants were in control of this. The Redskins, for 2 weeks in a row, I mean, there's points in the football game where you think they're going to just be blown out of the stadium. 17 points down last week, 18 points down this week. They hang in there. They put themselves in the position to win the football game.
But the Giants, it's been their tradition. They don't put teams away, and they didn't today. So they're going to have to sweat this one out if they do survive. 2nd and 14. Back on the 23. And the pass caught back to the original line of scrimmage by Lavernius Coles. As the clock runs under a minute and a half to go. 4-yard pickup there at the 19 of the Giants. Neither team has a timeout to use. Do the Redskins risk trying to get in the end zone?
That's what I'm thinking. Don't do anything foolish. Allow your kicker a chance to tie the game.
And the pass is tipped. And nearly intercepted. Well, there was a risk there. Coles defended by Stoutmeyer, and a flag back at the line of scrimmage. So you can run the ball and run the clock down and try the 3, but if you're called for a holding penalty or something like that, you could be out of field goal range.
Well, here's the big decision for Jim Fossil. Do you take the penalty and give him another 3rd down opportunity? Where if they throw it incomplete, it's a longer field goal, or do you make them kick it right now?
Still 3rd down.
Larry Moore was holding number 50, the center. So now it is 3rd down, but now they're going to move it back to the 29.
Oh, that's a tough decision for me. I don't know. I mean, I know there's a potential for a longer field goal here, but there's also the potential to complete a pass for a 1st down or a touchdown.
Remember, no timeouts left. Do you think either one of these teams would love to have one in their pocket? 3rd down and 20. And here's Ramsey on the screen pass to Cartwright. Cartwright gets to the 15-yard line and does not get out of bounds, but they have plenty of time to line up and spike the ball. And here comes John Hall to enter the game to try to tie it up. A good play. 14-yard gain, and it is 4th down. So they must try the field goal right here. They can't obviously spike it and stop the clock because they would give up possession. So this will be a 33-yard field goal attempt by Hall to tie it. And John Hall's kick ties it up. The Redskins come back for trailing 21-3 and have rallied to tie it up at 21-all with 13 seconds on the clock. I'll tell you what, is this what the Giants season is going to be about, you think?
It shouldn't be. There's no way a team of this caliber should allow a team to come back from 18 points down. They had 1st and 10 at the Redskins 38 after Will Allen's interception, and they went 3 downs and out. They got no points out of that.
First 4 possessions of the second half of the Giants resulted in punts, and then they missed a field goal. And the Redskins going 6 plays and 57 yards, and John Hall's 33-yarder ties it up at 21-21. But you could sense that the Redskins had momentum early in the second half.
The Giants just waited. They didn't do anything to separate themselves. They allowed this team to stay there, and you saw it last week. You watched it on film. And I don't care who was in the lineup or who wasn't in the lineup last week in Atlanta. This team showed a tremendous amount of character and composure coming back from 17 points down on the road in a loud stadium. It doesn't matter who was there dressed. You got to put a team away. When they're on the ropes, you got to throw a knockout punch and put the game away. John Hall will be kicking off to Brian Mitchell.
And Tim Carter also lurking back there for the Giants as well. Mitchell a yard in the end zone. Returning against his ex-team and brings it out to the 25-yard line, and a flag is thrown. 7 seconds on the clock here in the fourth.
Holding number 20 of the receiving team during the return.
Jim Finn is holding, and we're headed for overtime. You would think 7 seconds to go, and the Giants not about to take any major chances here.
They better come out and take a knee and go to overtime.
Shades of Arizona last year in the first half. Interception and a touchdown. So they're going to take the knee and go into overtime. Who would have thought that the game would turn?
New York is one to toss. Will receive.
Quarter, 2 timeouts per team. All the replays will come upstairs from the booth, and the first team to score wins. And if there's no scoring in 15 minutes, the game will go in as a tie. A lot of people don't like the overtime rule, stating that you just may get the score as Dallas did last week in overtime. You know what? If you have a good defense, stop them.
Yeah, exactly. It's overtime. The rules are the same everywhere. I don't like the college format. I like the NFL. Let's just line up and play another quarter. If the opposition gets the ball on the kickoff and takes it all the way down the field and gets points and wins, they earned it. It's just like you said, stop them. I mean, everybody says, well, it comes down to a coin toss. You know what? You didn't even get a chance to get your hands on the ball. We'll take care of play in the first 60 minutes. Don't get into overtime if you don't like the rules.
Well, it's Yogi would say deja vu for the Giants. Again, they played an overtime game Monday night and losing to the Cowboys in heartbreaking fashion at the end of regulation. And you know what? This one up on the list as well. No question about it.
They lose back-to-back games like they did against Dallas, and they squander this game today. It'll be very tough for even this team to come back from that adversity.
Ball kicking off, and Brian Mitchell returning from 2 yards in the end zone. Mitchell, he's not had a big return, but there's a flag down, and Mitchell with a big return out to the 38-yard line, but there are penalty markers back down at the 15. That was a 39-yard return by Mitchell, and we'll see what the call is. It goes against the Giants' illegal use of the hands on the return.
From the spot of the foul, too. Not from where he finished the run, but from the spot of the foul.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 37 of the receiving team.
Johnny Harris. So Terry Collins, who has the ability to get the Giants downfield in a hurry, he has thrown 3 touchdown passes today, 2 to Ike Hilliard, 1 to Amani Toomer. Giants will start from the 7-yard line. Not where you want to start in overtime. Tiki Barber hit at the line of scrimmage and powers his way out to the 11-yard line. Armstead putting the pressure on Collins, a pickup of 4.
Tough run by Tiki Barber. There was penetration on the right side. He ran through somebody's arm tackle.
Second and 6. To Amani Toomer, and Toomer has the first down, so the Giants get out of real trouble with a 9-yard pickup to the 20. Giants had 21 unanswered points in the first half of this game, and the Redskins had 18 unanswered points in the second half.
I think this might be an automatic. There's some confusion in the coverage. Those guys moving, trying to find a guy. I think Kerry Collins just pops up and delivers the ball if nobody's covered. He's testing them again to see if they've got it sorted out. There's still confusion on the Redskins secondary with the linebackers.
From the 20, he's got time, and the pass intended for Shockey. It'll be second down and 10.
Well, that's been a fun battle to watch all day. Jeremy Shockey and LeVar Arrington. Athletic ability versus athletic ability. Those two guys at their respective positions can do more than probably any player in the league, and it's been fun to watch all afternoon. Shockey's on the outside. There's LeVar Arrington. Beats him across the middle. Look at the athletic ability of LeVar Arrington to get back around, turn his hips. The ball's thrown high, but I don't think it's going to be completed anyway.
And how about his speed and staying with Shockey? And here's Barber off the right side, breaking a tackle. Tiki Barber goes upfield, and a big first down, gain of 15 yards with Bowen on the tackle. Let's quickly go to James Brown for a game break. JB.
Hey, Dick, and show you how Minnesota moved to 3-0. Gus Surratt, ex-Washington Redskin quarterback, in for the injured Dante Culpepper, hooking up with Kelly Campbell for a 72-yard strike. That gave them the margin of victory, and next week it'll be Minnesota hosting San Francisco on Fox. Back to Dick Stockton, Daryl Johnston.
All right, JB. Meanwhile, this game tied at 21. Nearly 2 minutes gone by in overtime. 2nd and 10 from the 34, and a flag is down. And the pass intended for Shockey on the far sideline. Johnny Greer has had a busy day. It'll go against the Redskins, so it was a free play for the Giants and a 5-yard penalty called against Bruce Smith.
Offside. 78, defense. Still first down.
17 penalties, tying a Redskin team record.
That's unbelievable. I mean, you knew it was a problem coming in. Steve Spurrier talked about it, but how prophetic is that to set a team record, the game that you concentrated on trying to eliminate penalties during the week.
1st and 5 on the Giant 39 after the penalty to Bruce Smith. Pumping once, and here is Shockey with the catch and the pivot, and a first down into Redskin territory. Jeremy Shockey with the catch, 14 yards, and quieting the crowd to a great degree.
You see, this is the thing that Jeremy Shockey does. That's a safety covering him out wide in the formation. He has the ability to make the catch, pivot around, and separate from Ifeanyi Ohalete in that situation.
And Arrington can't go out wide to cover him.
Now, you don't want LeVar taking himself all the way out of the formation, so when Jeremy splits out totally to the outside, he's going to get picked up by a safety.
First down, Giants on the Redskin 47, overtime, tied up, and a play action, and here comes Arrington on the blitz, and the pass caught by Jim Finn, the Giant fullback, and he's knocked out of bounds, and around the 20-yard line by Trotter. A big play made by Jim Finn, 28 yards, and the Giants are in field goal range to win it right now.
Watch the pursuit of these guys. Everybody's going that way. He bootlegs out. Jim Finn is wide open. Wide open.
They had not used Finn much today. Did not play last week against Dallas, but all he had to do was catch and scamper. First down on the 20-yard line for the Giants. Already in Matt Bryant's range to win it, and the handoff to Barber for a couple of yards. He came out of the pack and got a first down. He came out of a tunnel and picks up 11 yards inside the 10-yard line. And many of the fans here starting to make their way to the exits so they could read the tea leaves of what's happening here.
How did he do this? He must just get lost. He gets behind Chris Bover. Everybody thinks he's down, and then him and Dave Deal just open up a little crease, and he shoots through. Like he just gets in there behind all the blue. Everybody misses him. I tell you what, Todd France had to be surprised to see him coming through that pond.
And Tiki Barber, 125 yards on 28 carries. First and goal at the 9-yard line. And when do you finally say we don't need all the downs? Let's just bring in Matt Bryant now.
Right there. You just moved the ball off the right hash. You had your quarterback move over and get it into the center of the field. I'd be shocked to see if they ran another play right now.
And Jim Fossil calls a timeout, one of the two that each team has in overtime. Matt Bryant, who missed a 37-yarder in the fourth quarter, getting the call right now to go on and win it.
And right there, he's telling everybody, make sure the snap. This is the lesson that they learned in San Francisco. One of the things that got him into trouble Monday night against Dallas. It's second down. We've got one timeout left. Jeff Fiegels, if that ball is not perfect, you call timeout, we reset it, we do it again. I don't want anything going wrong. Explain everything to everybody. He was in the huddle that time. We heard all the miscommunication last week between him and Matt Bryant on the squib kick. I like to see Jim Fossil in there himself personally, making sure everybody was square.
Carson Dock will be the snapper. Jeff Fiegels the holder. This will be a 29-yard attempt. See if the Redskins call a timeout to try to ice Bryant. This is for a Giant win. And the kick
Jeff Fiegels did a great job.
And the Giants win it 24-21. And a flag is down. So hold everything. Penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, leaping on the defense. They still don't look good.
So the Giants win it in overtime, and Matt Bryant, who was a GOAT last Monday night with the squib kick that went out of bounds, allowing Dallas to come back and eventually tie and win. The hero here, as is Fiegels with his hold, and the Giants survive 24-21.